Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for the second test match of the Ashes. This one's going to be an absolutely awesome contest, although couple late, I guess you could say a couple late changes here for Australia does mean that they may have a little bit of a different tactic than they would have had prior. Pat Cummins out for this test match. Instead, it will be Michael Neser who does come in to replace him. That is unfortunately due to being a kind of close to a COVID case for Pat Cummins. So that means that he is isolating. And also, the good news for Australia, though, they could have also lost Lyon and also Stark if that had been the case. But luckily, they were sitting outside, which does mean that they are all right to continue playing. Warner, he is still at the top of the order. Possibly a rib injury could have left him out, but Hazelwood actually injured as well with a side strain. So it does mean that for the first time since 2014 in Australia, Hazelwood and Cummins both not going to be in the bowling attack. We have got there Armin Tarong as well, says Ollie Wilson there, and hello Ham and all, says Batty Wagon. Welcome into the live stream. Hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you are all excited for this matchup. And of course, with Pat Cummins recently becoming the captain of the side, it means that now it will be the vice captain here, Steve Smith. He will be in charge of the side here. They actually won the toss, Australia. They decided that they want to have a bat. They want to right the wrongs that England did last week in terms of that batting performance first. And who here is doing their part to win the war on Christmas as well? Says Mark Morris there, and Yo says Crazy NZ there. I hope you guys are all excited. Do let me know what total you think Australia will be able to push themselves towards here for their first innings. Should be very interesting to see what they can do. Looking through at some of the stats from last week that we did get to see. For a start, this is the batting lineup that they were able to have for the last week's game, the Australians. It was in the end David Warner getting very close to that century. Instead of getting it, though, he did go out on 94 from Robinson's bowling, who was doing very nicely last week. He is not there, though, I believe, this week for England, or is he? Yes, he is. He is going to get a little bit of an opportunity. I know that they swapped out a couple men, but it is Stuart Broad and Jimmy Anderson that they have brought in for that lineup. So that means no Wokes and also no Jack Leach is the other man that they are going to be missing. So as we can see here, someone who had a very good innings, Travis Head, 152 runs off 148. Also Labuschagne putting in a good shift there, 74 of 17 deliveries. But this English bowling attack, it is going to be tough for them to try and really kind of, I guess you could say, hold the Australians down. As we can see there, Jack Leach, he went for 7.8 for his economy rate. That is why he is not there. They've actually only got the one spin option, which is Joe Root here, but they have still got Ben Stokes. No sign of Mark Wood either, actually, is the other player for England that they are missing. So they have still got Chris Wokes for this matchup, and then Ollie Robinson was very impressive getting himself the 3 wickets there as well. We have got that big love. I mentioned everyone what's happened to Pat as well. Pretty much it was the case of him being a close contact with a COVID case. So because of that, it does mean that he is not going to get to take part, unfortunately, in this game. He is going to be watching this one from his hotel room. It is a shame that he is only kept in the one side, got himself a 5-wicket haul, but now he is going to be missing. You should go to Tauranga one day as well, says Ollie Wilson. Perhaps we will be able to get it going. And Jimmy Anderson with a pink ball will be interesting. Yeah, last time we did see him with that pink ball and 5 wickets for his side, he was almost actually able to get that other match going their favour for England last time when Australia did have a very good start. But this game, it is the second test match of the Ashes. The first one went the way of the Australians, and now England with Broad and also Jimmy Anderson being brought in. Maybe it could be the game changer for them, definitely with Cummins and Hazelwood both missing. But I hope you are all doing well for this test match. We have got all 3 sessions coming to you live from today. And for the second session, we are going to have a guest, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be George. He will be popping in, although I will mention straight away, George has watched about 5 minutes of cricket in his lifetime. So it could be interesting to see how it does go. Even if Stu and Jimmy bowl blindfolded, they can't possibly do worse than Leach as well. Thank God the lads are back as well, says Sebastian there with the 10 out of 10. But yeah, Australia, they will be excited for this opportunity in this one. They did win the toss. Steve Smith decided that they do want to have a bat. They were still chatting to Pat Cummins before the match, saying that he would be, I guess, still a little bit of a factor in this match, even though he will be watching it from his hotel room. He has said to Steve Smith, it's your side now, mate. You go out there, you play the way that you want to, and get this one done at Adelaide, because then Boxing Day test, that will be possibly the one that does win it for the Australians. We have got the Georges in the chat from Paddy Wagon, and that is exactly who is going to be joining us for the second test match. But David Warner, probably pretty lucky. He is actually still at the top of the order. Unfortunately for him, did end up with a little bit of a rib injury. So I'm wondering whether or not the bowlers, just push that length back just a little bit more, see whether or not they can tickle the ribs of Warner. But the batting lineup that Australia will have, Marnus Labuschagne will be in at 3. Steve Smith as the captain will be at 4. Travis Head, Cameron Green, Alex Carey, the wicketkeeper on home soil for this match as well. Big moment for him. Michael Neser also plays for the Adelaide Strikers in the BBL, Mitchell Starc, Nathan Lyon, and Jai Richardson. And I feel like that pink ball test, when you mention a pink ball, you think of one man for Australia, and that is going to be Mr. Man himself, Mitchell Starc, who will be able to whip it down there at about 150, but we won't get to see him possibly bowling today. And if we do, means that Australia have not quite got the job done at the top of the order, which is going to be opened by David Warner and also Marcus Harris. So two left-handers as the opening combo for the Australians, and when the Aussies are we have got there inevitable. I'll tell you what, I can't say that word to save myself, can I? The Aussies inevitably go out. Be sure to use our new emoji. We have got a new cricket emoji, and it is the out. So anyone who does want to use that one, be sure to use it. We have got the Australian national anthem at the moment. Let's go England. Put 20 on them and 10 on Joe Root to get more runs in the first, or the most runs in the first innings, and 10 for Anderson to get the most wickets. Let's go Poms as well. Says Aiden there. So he is going for the side that at this stage, they were the underdogs going into this game. They are still the underdogs, but with Cummins and Hazelwood both out, it has changed the odds just a little bit in favour of the English. Still a 12% chance that we do have a draw in this fixture. And the big thing here for the Australians and also for England, we've seen that it is the same cut length as it was last time for the Ashes at Adelaide Oval. So it's looking like a nice surface, about 8 millimetres of grass, I believe they said. And there will be just a little bit more purchase in the surface because they did say it's a little bit drier than it was last time as well. And the Australian national anthem, it has been done, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting very, very close to the first ball. Stuart Broad in or out? He is in for this game. Stuart Broad, Jimmy Anderson, both in the starting lineup for England in this match. Alongside the other pace bowlers for this one, they have got Wokes and Ollie Robertson. And then they've also got that spin option of Joe Root. And maybe even does Ollie Pope whip him down a couple of times? I don't think he's had too many experiences in the past, Ollie Pope. But we are now getting ready to go. We can see there the Australians making their way off the field at the Adelaide Oval because they will be hopefully getting to spend a nice long day in the changing room waiting for Warner and Marcus Harris to both bring up a very nice opening run partnership. Better than we got to see last week for Rory Burns. Hate bringing it up, but of course the golden duck for Rory up against Mitchell Starc as the bowling now. Perhaps Stuart Broad. We know that battle that he had in the Ashes 2019 up against David Warner, just relentless with the line and length, always getting either was the edge in the end that did get Warner out many times. Also the LBW, the bold as well. He pretty much got him in every way possible other than stumped for that one. Stuart Broad up against David Warner. We have got there Warner to get less than 10 as well, says Aiden there. And also, things go as planned. Pope shouldn't bowl as well, says Sebastian. Yeah, that is true. We know with the pink ball, if you do not get wickets early, it does mean that you do get yourself into a very long day of cricket. But Stuart Broad, 150th test match here for that man. Extremely impressive that he has had that many, I should say. And I hope Broad opens the bowling. As I says Aiden, I assume they might go Broad at one end, Anderson at the other, just to give them a couple overs under their belt, get them fired up. But two lefties, surely you open with Broad to David Warner. That will be the 2019 Ashes all over again. I remember watching that. And anytime David Warner thought he had half a chance up against Stuart Broad just changed the line and length just a little bit. I remember a couple times it was actually the leave of David Warner, tried to leave that ball, still hit the bat, and still went through to either first slip or the keeper there. But David Warner, do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, how many runs do you think David Warner will get here, and how many runs do you think Marcus Harris will get as well? I'll give Warner a 10. That's 10 runs from 10 balls as well. Then out as well, says Sebastian there for the prediction. And also we have got the Harris has a painful average as well, says it was there from Mark. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what these two can do for their opening partnership. I will quickly show you guys what they did last time for the batting lineup of Australia. We can see there Warner was able to get himself 94 runs of 172 balls, whereas Nathan Harris, he went out, Marcus Harris, I keep on saying Nathan. Who's Nathan Harris? I think he's another cricketer, isn't he? But he went out extremely early, 3 runs off the 17 delivery, so we will have to wait and see whether or not he can have a little bit more of an impact in this one as well. Also for the fourth innings, didn't really have to do too much batting because they only required themselves a few. Warner will need or will get 25 from 63 then out, as well as his Mark Morris. Very specific number there, but if you do get it 100% correct, I will be extremely impressed. But the best bowling figures here for James Anderson, Jimmy Anderson, 7 wickets, 42 runs off his bowling. If he was able to pick himself up that with the pink ball in hand, this will certainly give Australia a little bit more pressure in that lower order where we will get to see Jai Richardson, Michael Nessa. It's great to see him in that lineup. Of course, it's at the expense of Pat Cummins, but he's been 12 men a lot of the times, Michael Nessa. So now we are ready to go. It is going to be Jimmy Anderson bowling the opening ball of the Adelaide Test. This is the second one of the Ashes, ladies and gentlemen. You do not want to miss any of the action. And Marcus Harris, he is going to be on strike, trying to work out this over of Jimmy Anderson. Could be a little bit of swing on offer as well. The sun is out. It's looking like it's a hot day. There will be plenty of drinks involved. But Jimmy Anderson bringing up over 1,000 wickets alongside Stuart Broad as the opening run partnership. That's a lot more realistic of a prediction mark as well. Said Sebastian there. But now, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Anderson, he is ready to go. It is day one, session one of the Adelaide Oval Test match between Australia and England. It is going to now be Jimmy Anderson. He is ready to go, bowling the first delivery of this matchup. I'm excited for this one. Outside of the off stump, and it is a leave from Marcus Harris straight away. Decides not to play at that one, which is understandable. You don't want to get yourself edged off the very first delivery for playing at one that you shouldn't have. And Marcus Harris, he is one of those batsmen. He will just spend all day at the crease if he has to. He's very similar in some regards to Labuschagne. He doesn't mind not being able to tick over that run rate, because at the end of the day, in a test match, you got 2,700 balls maximum, or even more than that, actually, if you do the maths of if there are a few wides. But Anderson runs in for a second delivery. Oh, that's a beautiful delivery there from Jimmy Anderson, almost finding the edge of Marcus Harris. Ended up popping nicely off the Adelaide Oval surface, which is looking pretty dry at the moment. But this was a great line from Jimmy Anderson, getting the ball to go straight across Marcus Harris there. Popping nicely off the surface. He's very lucky not to get an edge on that one. Marcus Harris, Jimmy Anderson almost thought he had picked himself up his first wicket of the match, and he would certainly love to be able to get one this early on in the Adelaide Oval Test. Third delivery now from him. It's going to be on the stumps, a little bit bouncing over, and it is blocked there by Nathan Harrison. Not taking too many risks early on. You do not want to go out this early on in the Test match. We saw for Rory Burns, as soon as you go out this early, you got to sit there. You got to watch the replays over and over and over again, watching that ball take out your stumps, or watching yourself just feather it to the men in the slip cordon. And you just think, why did I do that? Should have just done it just a little bit differently. As where's the zinc cream? As well, says Mark Morris there. Is that for myself or for the Aussies here at this one? Because I know there'll certainly be plenty of drinks breaks throughout this one. Marcus Harris there just blocking it once again. Has fielded in cover by, I believe that was Hamad, who was able to cut that one out. Yeah, at the moment, I'm wondering whether or not we do get to see a maiden here from Jimmy Anderson as his very first over back. He didn't get to play the first Test match, and the same can be said about Stuart Broad. Neither of them getting the chance in that first one. Instead, they did have Jack Leach, and also the other option that they have taken out. They've actually taken out Mark Wood, which on an Adelaide surface, you wonder whether or not his extra pace that he can get himself on a surface like this may have been in handy, or been coming in handy, I should say. Once again, left by Marcus Harris outside of the off stump. But at the moment, do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, what is the total that you think Australia will be able to work their way towards here? And at this first session, I feel like that's the thing. 30 overs here they should be going at roughly. So I'm going to say, I think they get themselves close to the 100, maybe a little bit less. Maybe they go at about 80 off the first few, but they don't want to lose any wickets at all. They want to get that massive partnership going. It looks like a beautiful day there at the Adelaide Oval. I know that Pat Cummins would have loved to be out there. Final delivery of this over left by Marcus Harrison. It is a maiden to start off this one as well. Good first over from Jimmy Anderson. And now I believe it will be Stuart Broad bowling to the man himself, David Warner, who was able to get 94 in his first innings of the last Test match. This one is going to be the exciting battle. Everyone has been waiting 2 years to be able to see this one, probably around 70 to 80 years as well. Says Sebastian there. Jimmy Anderson, he did have a good first over going for the maiden. Now Stuart Broad, can he do one better and get himself a wicket maiden perhaps? But he has got the headband on here. Stuart Broad, 150 Test matches. He has been able to play in a maiden already by Jimmy as well. Says Sebastian, that's the thing, 150 matches. In those 150, 524 is best bowling figures of 8 for 15. That is absolutely incredible. From some of my friend Keelan says, how's it going as well? Welcome in, Keelan. Hope you are doing well, mate. I'm excited for the Ashes. I didn't get to watch as much of the first Test match as I would have liked to, as we did have the BBL, and also trying to work out a sleep schedule that did work for ourselves. But now it is going to be Jimmy Anderson from one end, Stuart Broad from the other. The dynamic English duo both being brought in for this matchup as well. But Warner, he is going to be on strike. And Stuart Broad going to be charging in now. This is the angle that Warner doesn't like too much. Going to be cutting in nicely. Oh, it hits him on the leg. It's a little bit high, though, but it was an LBW shout from Stuart Broad. And once again, he is going to be right all over Stuart Broad in the earlier opportunity. That was never LBW as well, says Mark Morris. Yeah, I think it was just the shout getting the head of David Warner, going about, I'd say about that high over the stumps, to be honest. Definitely wasn't going to be cleaning up the stumps there. I believe it actually hit Warner on the thigh pad almost, rather than, yeah, did end up hitting him on the thigh pad a little bit high from Stuart Broad, but not a bad ball straight away. Oh, I tell you what, it's not a mile off. I think it might have been only about this much rather than the amount that I did say for it as well. But now it is going to be Stuart Broad once again. He will have his second delivery of the opening over for himself. Jimmy Anderson applying the pressure at the other end. And now Broad once again getting that in-swinging angle. That's going to be a little bit down the leg side. And he does end up missing that one. Warner, no spoilers, mate. Wait until Avish reacts, please. Cheers as well. Says, oh, what's Sebastian there in the chat. And now it is Stuart Broad. He's got his headband, like I mentioned. He is fired up for this game. They are just showing this one on the replay in terms of whether or not, yeah, it did end up clearing it by about, I'd say about 6 inches or so, about what you get from a Subway foot long, or half of Subway foot long, I should say there. I feel like that's the best type of measurement. People will understand the Subway foot long or Subway 6 inch, about somewhere around there. Although they did have a thing a while ago that they weren't giving out false foot longs for Subway. So I brought a nice angle there, and it is going to be cut off there by himself with the bowling as well. He is fired up for this one here, Stuart Broad. A few words being exchanged possibly as well between the two, because I can't even remember how many times did he get David Warner out in the Ashes last time. I swear he got him out pretty much every single match, if not every single game of the Ashes, almost every single session as well for David Warner. But in the end, wasn't quite enough for England to be able to get that in. They want to steal it here on home soil of the Australians. Stuart Broad to left-handers in Tests since 2019, 35 wickets he has been able to get himself. And now Broad coming in wide from the crease, and Warner blocks that one nicely as well. Just keeping the ball out from it being able to go through. I feel like Warner, he got himself very close to the century. He got 94 in that last one. He wouldn't mind being able to go right through and get himself the 100 in this one. They have got their slip cordon set at the moment. It seems like they've got, I think it is 3 slips and a gully that they have decided to go with very early on here for the Australians, and also the man at deep fine leg. I said the Australians, I meant the English, sorry, for that one. But they have got Joe Root, who will be in the slip cordon. He will be having an important role later on in this game for himself in terms of with maybe even the ball in hand, not just the bat for them, as they have not gone with Leach as a spinning option. It's going to be nicely bowled there by Broad, almost the first runs of the day, but Stokes able to cut it off and cover. And now still yet to tick over a run here for the Australians. You've got plenty of time, though. Of course, 90 days, or sorry, not 90 days. Imagine a test match that goes 90 days. That would be rough on the body. That is for sure. We know that already Hazelwood was out from a side strain, and also Warner, he's got a bit of a rib injury, so I'm wondering how much that will factor in into this one. And at the moment, he's looking like he is going to be relatively solid behind the ball, as he normally is early on in his innings, David Warner. Currently 6 dot balls to Harris, 5 dot balls to Warner. This could be another maiden for the English here, if you can get it right. Jimmy Anderson's, Stuart Broad's pants became see-through there from the logo on the pitch. It's a nice delivery. David Warner leaves, and that is going to be the end of the second over there. Another maiden for the English, and it is going to be a 0 for 0 after the first 2 overs here. But the next 3 batsmen, Marnus Labuschagne, Steve Smith, and Travis Head. Travis Head in that last innings for his side, or actually the first innings of that last test match, able to get himself 150-ish runs. It was incredibly impressive from him as well. We will bring up the scorecard from the last time that these two sides played, and that was last week at the Gabba as well. 152 of 148, 15 fours, 4 sixes as well for Travis Head, going at over 100 as a strike rate as well. David Warner, as you can see up the top of the order there, 94 runs of 176 balls as well. So he was doing very nicely for himself, and also a good innings down the line, or down the order a little bit more, from Mitchell Starc, who will be looking forward to getting to have a bit of a bowl out there at Adelaide Oval, because it is certainly a nice hot day as well. Much, much better start from the Poms as well, says Aidan there. Yeah, they have decided, or they didn't actually get to decide, I should say. Steve Smith decided that the Australians would be out there having the bat first, and this will be a hot day to be out in the outfield. I believe it's around that 30 degrees or somewhere around there as well, late 20s, and Jimmy Anderson now, the veteran for the English lineup when it comes to test match cricket. Like I mentioned, him and Stuart Broad combined over 1,000 wickets combined here. Oh, beautiful delivery once again from Jimmy Anderson, bringing it straight across Marcus Harris to get relatively close to getting just that little bit of an edge on it. At the moment, it is very tough as the left-hander facing someone like Jimmy Anderson. This ball is actually doing quite a bit off the surface. Each time it is bouncing, seems to be really going out towards the slips. That's extremely close to the edge of Nathan Harris there. Oh, sorry, not Nathan. I keep on calling him Nathan. His name's not Nathan. I think I'm combining Nathan Lyon and Marcus Harris there. Who else is Nathan Harris? Nathan Harris is actually the Chiefs hooker for the rugby, I should say, as well. 134. Jimmy Anderson getting them down there at a decent speed. And once again, going to be another dot ball. The Australians yet to get themselves a run off the bat here, but I don't think it will be too far away. They have got, that's the thing, England have got themselves quite an attacking field for the early stages of this game with all of these slips, all of the gullies, and the way that that ball is going across Marcus Harris, it is certainly going to open up the opportunity for one of those edges. It's just swinging nicely for Jimmy Anderson. Once again, nice ball across Marcus Harris, and it is going to be left. No wrong ball bowled so far from Jimmy Anderson, and also high from the two Aussies. Welcome into the live stream, mate. I hope you are doing well. Hope you have been enjoying the BBL as we have been seeing it recently. It's been a very awesome competition to be able to witness. The next BBL games are actually in a few days' time. That is because of these test matches taking place for the Adelaide test match, just one before the Boxing Day as well. But the next games of the BBL, it is going to be the Heat. They will be taking on the Sydney Thunder at 9:40 p.m. in 4 days or so time, and also the Scorchers taking on the Hurricanes. In fact, now those times are wrong. It will be down to 3 days or so now because of the fact that we did do those screenshots yesterday, I believe it was, if I'm not wrong. And let's go you Aussies as well, says the two Aussies. Who do you think will be able to go on out of these two men and get themselves towards maybe the first half century of the day? Or do you think it will be maybe Labuschagne or Steve Smith who might be able to get themselves going forward as well? But looking through at the English bowling from their second innings, first of all, two men that are missing. It is not going to be Jack Leach there, and it is also not going to be Mark Wood, nicely blocked there by Nathan Harris. And once again, Jimmy Anderson has got a dot. Very good pressure being applied here from England. Not really giving away any freebies other than the one that went down the leg side from Stuart Broad. But in the end, Nathan Warner, everyone's called Nathan at the moment. Even Gazza down the bottom of the order, who will be coming out. Hopefully not today for the Australians, but we will have to wait and see. But yeah, even David Warner wasn't quite able to catch up with that one. But then also Joe Root here for his economy of 4.8. He might be important to try and pick up a wicket here for their lineup. Once again, nicely bowled there, and that's going to be the first runs of the day. Marcus Harris hits it out through the leg side, and that looks like it's going to be at least 2 runs. Chased down here by Stuart Broad, and they do get the 3 runs as well. Nicely done by Marcus Harris, and he will retain the strike for the next over of Stuart Broad. That is the end of the third over, and they are sitting 3 for none here for the Australians. I've been enjoying your BBL stream as well, says the two Aussies. And also we've got that. Can't wait for Adelaide to go mental when the Aussies get their first run as well, says Labuschagne, and they just did indeed. It is going to be a very awesome test match between these two sides with those late kind of, I guess you could say the late, what are they called? I keep on saying inclusions, but that is, of course, when they get included in. I guess you could say the late inclusions of Michael Neeson and also Jai Richardson, both getting brought into that pace attack. First time on Australian soil since 2014 that they have not had Hazelwood and also Cummins out there. It's going to be tough for them, but they have never lost a pink ball test, I should mention, for the Australians as well. And also, I'm not going to be here on much as a stream because I go for the Aussies as well. Says it was the two Aussies there. And also, I should mention that we have got another Kiwi who will be joining me a little bit later on in the day. It is George, and he will be joining me for the second session of the day as well. He has watched about 5 to 10 minutes of cricket in his whole lifetime. So I will be interested to see his take on such a prestigious kind of competition as the Ashes is. It is a series that has gone for over 140 years. Going to be interesting to see what does happen in that session. We never know what we're going to get with George as well. All the English bowlers, seamers as well, says Mark Morris. They have got all seamers other than, I guess you could say, oh, that didn't look like it struck Marcus Harris where he wants to get hit there. Other than Joe Root, who will be that kind of part-time spin if they do need him as the option. I feel bad for Pat, though. He was going to be back is he going to be back for the third test? I believe he's got a 7-day isolation. So if we do quickly look at the schedule for the next test matches, when's the next one? Boxing Day. So he will be back for the Boxing Day test as long as he keeps on returning negative tests, because he has already done a test and he was negative, but they just have to make sure that they take all the precautions. And because he was sitting inside rather than outside, that's the thing. Nathan Lyon and also Mitchell Stark, both outside of the restaurant, so they are safe in that regard. Another one on the legs there, and it is going to be blocked by Nathan Harris. And also we have got there, do you remember when Warner made 335 not out? Because I was at the game as well, says the two Aussies here. Very impressive batsman at the top of the order, David Warner. And if he can find even, I'd say if he can even get a third of that, he would be pretty happy. Who replaced Cummins? So they have brought in Michael Nisa for this one rather than Pat Cummins. So he has been 12th man a lot of the times for the Australians. Who do you got as well? Says Ed, we are still very early on, but I'd say Australia with the record in day-night test matches already never losing one. I would say that I'm going the Aussies for this one, but I think it's going to be relatively close. I think England, that's going to be close to an LBW there. Oh, he just said not out. Maybe hit outside the line, but Stuart Broad, he liked the look of that one. Do they go upstairs, and how much bounce is there on offer at the moment at Adelaide? We have got down playing Wii Sports Resort golf, 18 holes as well. So do let us know how you go, mate. And also, I might be going to day 4 and 5 there as well. Indeed, hoping he stays healthy and he'll be back as well. Says Sebastian, we're going to get to see this replay here. Oh, he did get a little edge, Marcus Harris. So it is a good decision from them that they decided that they do not want to review that one. It was relatively close if it didn't hit the bat, though. But it was nicely done from Nathan Harris. Not Nathan. Every time I call him Nathan, it's going to annoy me that is, of course, a Chiefs player from Super Rugby, which is coming back very soon as well for February. And I believe Stuart Broad, he knew that it hit the bat as well there, nicely delivered. And it is just outside of the off stump. Another leave for Nathan Harris, who is sitting on 3 runs of 16 deliveries. Who's your favourite cricketer as well? Says Ed, ooh, it's a tough one. I like watching Kane Williamson for the Kiwis. If I was to pick my favourite in this one, I would say probably Nathan Lyon, just because of how good he is with those off spinners. And when I am when I used to play cricket, I should say, I was an off spinner, so it was good watching him being able to pick up so many wickets. But I will quickly show what Australia got in their second innings once again. As you can see there, 3 runs off 17 deliveries. If that is to repeat itself, if history repeats, this ball is a wicket. He left the ball. Good call from Marcus Harris there, so he is not going to be going out. And at least he has got more balls faced than he did last time for their first innings there. And also we have got to go now as well, because I'm going to watch the game and might be back in the breaks as well, says the two Aussies. So we will see you later on, mate. But be sure to enjoy the game. Should be a very exciting one between these two sides at the moment. 3.5 overs down here for the English, only going for the 3 runs, and that was Jimmy Anderson. Did go for them. Stuart Broad, he does love this angle, being able to bring the ball back into the left hand and then get it to seam away at the last moment. We're running in wide of the crease, nicely delivered, hit down the ground, but it is straight to the man. Well, it's fielding there. I believe it was actually Jimmy Anderson who was able to cut that one off, but that is the end of the over, and it will be 3 for none here for the Australians after the 4 over. So a little bit of a slow start, but of course, in the test match, you have got plenty of time to be able to just sit out there and bat for time, because that's the thing. 30 degrees at the moment at the Adelaide Oval. They're just showing the kind of dimensions of the ground. It's quite a short either side of it when you do cut or pull. So you got 62 and 60 meters as well, waiting for that nice Gary as well in the chat from Ed Vogel. Though, of course, someone who does like the same nice Gary would have been probably Tim Payne, who isn't at this match, unfortunately, for them. But it looks like a great atmosphere at the moment at the Adelaide Oval. It's looking hot. I hope those people have got sunscreen on, or else you are getting burnt to a crisp out there at the moment. But it will be Jimmy Anderson once again. People are sitting on the roof watching this game. That will be relatively warm up there today, I would think. But now at the moment, Jimmy Anderson going to be bowling his 3rd over. Ball going straight across David Warner. His first chance to bowl to David here. At the moment, Anderson, he's been pretty sharp with the angle that he has been creating for himself. And that's the thing. When you got him from one side bowling the right arm and it's going across the batsman, and then you got Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad from the other, bowling it across them with that right-hander kind of angle as well. You're kind of all over the place. You're going like this pretty much in terms of where they've got to try and read the ball from coming from. That was almost a sentence we're getting there. Another leave outside of the off stump for Jimmy Anderson there as well. At the moment, he hasn't really been too costly. Only the one shot that was scoring, and that was whipped to the leg side. He didn't get to play in the first test match between the two sides, and also Stuart Broad getting brought in for this one as well. I'm not too sure how much of the Barmy Army has channeled into the Adelaide Oval yet. I'm not hearing too many chants. And what's the most known Kiwi or New Zealand cricket ground? Oh, it's a good question. I mean, I know that a lot of people... Great ball once again, almost unplayable there for David Warner up against Jimmy Anderson. He is well and truly, he just wants to feel the bat on ball, except he doesn't want to feel it with the little edge, or else he will be on his way for the duck there, David Warner. But just a beautiful line outside of the off stump once again, and Warner walking down the pitch, just trying to work out how to play this man, Jimmy Anderson. I'd say that I mean, Mount Maunganui is a pretty popular one, I think, but it's probably, I mean, I'd like to say Hagley Oval just because I'm from the South Island, so in Christchurch, but I don't know. I feel like Eden Park, also for T20s, we get to see quite a few taking place. But overall, that's a very good question. What is the most known cricket ground in New Zealand? I feel like I will be able to possibly, I feel like someone from another room might be able to help me out with that. What is the most well-known one? Oh, I just heard something. No, maybe not. They're showing there. Without deviation, that ball was going straight back into David Warner. Eden Park? Eden Park is the call as the most known New Zealand cricket ground. Not the best, though, is the call. What would you say is the best? Napier. There you go. Napier. Atmosphere as well. Jimmy Anderson at the moment, outswing 46% of the time, no swing for 35%, and then also the in-swinger for 19%, and that is normally the one that picks up the wicket as well for Jimmy Anderson when you don't know what way it's going, and then all of a sudden, just comes back in and tickles the pads. Nicely bowled once again for Anderson going across. Warner is happy to waste overs with these two as well. Exactly right. When you got two experienced bowlers and Jimmy Anderson and also Stuart Broad to Hawke's Bay as well. I think it is. Is it Hawke's Bay or is it? Yeah, I think it might be. Actually, as well, Michael Neser replacing Cummins. He's a Queensland fast-paced bowler. Plays for the Heat on the and the Queensland Blues as well, says Robert. Exactly right. And he was able to pick himself up 5 wickets in the match up against England, So he is certainly in form at the moment and he will be ready to go for this fixture. I will mention anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are going to be back with plenty more Ashes action, including George being back for the second session. And like I mentioned earlier on, George has not watched a lot of cricket at all for himself, so it will be interesting to see how that one goes. Now Stuart Broad once again outside of the off stump, just willing to leave it there for the English once again. They are looking like they are going to be persisting with that line outside the off stump, seeing whether or not Marcus Harris decides to maybe reach for one. Might even give him a half volley soon here. I think that Stuart Broad, he's been very consistent with that good length. Maybe throw one up just a little bit higher and see, or a little bit fuller, and see whether or not Marcus Harris decides that he does want to have a bit of a swing in it. There is a gap out through cover for the early stage of this test match as well. Now Stuart Broad running in once again, wide angle. That's going to be closer to being out. It's given, and that is going to be possibly Marcus Harris out. Does he review it? They are going to be asking that question, but this could be the first wicket of the day for England. He's saying that it's hit the pad. I don't think there was bat on that one. The last one, he was saved by the bat. Is this going to be him out? They're going upstairs. They've decided to use the DRS. So this is a big question of whether or not this will be an early review lost as well. Oh, do we have local umpires? Because if we've got local umpires, I believe they will have 3 reviews rather than just the 2. And at the moment now, it was a fair delivery that they are checking here for Stuart Broad. The last thing they want is a no ball for this one. That is for sure. Stuart Broad at the moment. Just checking this one. It's going across big time. It almost cuts back in. It might be height. That could be a bit of a factor here. Might be going down leg as well. It's hit him above the knee roll. This might still be all right for him as well. Stuart Broad got the first drop as well. Says Aiden as well. Okay, no bat on that ball. So now they are going to be checking the ball tracking. Once they do prove, yep, there is clear bat and ball gap, I guess you could say as well. Ball tracking now. Original decision is out. It's cutting across him. I think this one's missing leg stump. It is missing leg stump by quite a bit as well. Also height and factor. So that will be one that the umpire thinks about a little bit later on. But that is going to be the review retained for Australia. Nathan Harris, he is going to be safe there. Same umpires that did the first game. I think they got 3 each as well. Says Robert there, and what a review. Says Mark Morris. Yes, certainly an important one there for Nathan Harris. So it was a good call. I believe David Warner helped decide that they were going to be reviewing that one from the non-striker's end. Marcus Harris, he survives. He is still going to be at the crease here for himself, but it was relatively close to him getting in a bit of trouble there. Marcus Harris, he hasn't really got too much on the bat so far, unfortunately, but he has been able to get himself the 3 runs here. Now Stuart Broad, he will know that that one's bouncing quite a bit, so whether or not he does decide to pitch it up just a little bit more for his next one. Hey, Robert, how you doing as well? And there it's going to be nicely done as well, and also how embarrassing England as well. Says Amish, I wouldn't say it's embarrassing for them, really. It's just the fact that they were using a good review. And now it's going straight across. Like they're saying, it's a full delivery, but it did just pop off the surface there for him as well. And Stuart Broad, he went straight up for the appeal, and he was celebrating it big time there, Stuart Broad, and I'm great you as well. Says a Robert there. It was going straight across, and it was bouncing high outside of the off stump. Or it's outside of the league, I should say. Was pitching inside, outside off, and I'm great you as well, says Robert there in the chat. And it was Joe Root who wasn't too happy with that one as well there. Down the leg side, almost a little feather from Marcus Harris. He does end up missing that one. We're currently sitting 5.4 overs in to this one, and they're really playing well compared to the first game. I'm good, Robert, as well in there. And see you're in good form, Aaron Spencer as well. Says Sebastian there, but they're showing Cameron Green at the moment. He will want to forget his first innings that he did get to see out in the middle at the Gabba. Unfortunately for him, did end up going out for a duck for him. First ball duck as well. Stuart Broad not too happy with the DRS for that one in terms of where that ball ended up popping up. At the moment, Rory Burns, he will also want to forget that first innings at the Gabba, but Marcus Harris at the moment sitting on 3 runs of 22 deliveries. Australia, they won the toss, and they did decide that they do want to have a bat here for this one. Nicely bowled by Stuart Broad. It is going to be hit to the leg side mid-wicket as Chris Wokes, and he has been able to field that one. How you doing, brother, as well? Says Aiden there in the chat. But do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, how many runs are we going to get to see from Australia in this first innings at the moment? Stuart Broad, they're showing there the fullest delivery that he has decided to go for that third over is still almost bouncing over the stumps. Only sitting around that 4 meters or so away. And cheers, Aiden, doing great chilling with some cricket as well. And yeah, and England have brought in Anderson back as well, says Robert. So yeah, there's going to be a good factor for them in this matchup, that is for sure, because having those two with just the experience that they bring to the side, over 1,000 wickets between them. And also, we need to remember Stuart Broad, this is his 150th match for England. Even getting to 50 is impressive. And also, hello, Hamish. Good Ashes. England seem to be up for this test as well. Yeah, it's looking good early on for the English. That is going to be the end of the 6th over, and they are sitting 3 for none here for Australia. So only the 1 scoring shot so far, and Broad and Anderson a bat as well, says Hamish Spencer there. I mean, 1,000 wickets between them. I think that's a lot more. Never mind, it's a no ball. So now that is going to be the first no ball that we have seen of the day, and it's an extra run there for Australia. Neither of Broad or Anderson, neither of them playing in that first test match for England. Instead, they did have Mark Wood and also Jack Leach, just a little bit overrunning that one. Show up Broad, and also they should replace Harris with Perry as well. She will teach the boys a lesson as well, says Aiden there in the chat. And I know that before the matchup, Alex Carey was just getting asked the question of whether or not Stuart Broad, not Stuart Broad, it was in the end whether or not Mitchell Starc should replace him. And he did say in the end that his wife would be better at keeping than Mitchell Starc there. And also, I reckon Australia is hoping England overwork Jimmy and Broad by playing negative batting as well, says Mark Morris. Yeah, they will probably end up having to bowl a few overs in this one. They're showing just a hot spot there for Stuart Broad at the moment in terms of where those heat zones are going to be. This is going to be interesting to see how it does end up kind of developing throughout the later stages, because it will be Nathan Lyon in that final innings who will get himself a few of those pitch marks as well, or the footing marks. And also, Skull Gaming has said, hi, welcome into the live stream, mate. I hope you are doing well. Warner at the moment sitting on 0 runs of 12 deliveries. Harris sitting on 3 runs of 25. And the no ball from Stuart Broad there, just getting an extra one in favour of the Aussies. We have, let's go there, Usman. Needs to come in for Harris, and Perry in for Starc as well. Says Robert there, that's going to be nicely bowled. And once again, it is just a single. Stuart Broad acting like he was going to be throwing that one, decides against it in the end. And Anderson at the moment, he hasn't really leaked too many runs so far. Just the one shot to mid-wicket where they were able to pick up the 3 runs. It is quite a long outfield in places for the Adelaide Oval. It's 60 metres across pretty much both of the sides for the pull shot and the cut shot. But when you have got that much width early on in the test match, you're probably not going to be taking on the cut shot. You do not want an edge early on. Warner at the moment, 0 from 13 deliveries. Once again, keeping it tight. That's going to be another dot ball for Jimmy Anderson. Not really giving away too many freebies at the moment. Warner, he won't be minding this though. Like we saw in that first innings, Harris is the go as well. He's by far the best test player in the world as well, says Hamish Spencer there in the chat as well. And from the first innings, as you can see, David Warner, he faced 176 deliveries, was able to get himself up to 94 runs. So he doesn't mind that it's dot ball after dot ball at the moment. Definitely not in these hot conditions at the Adelaide Oval. They do want to try and wear down the slightly older bowlers as well, not bowlers, although they will just be a rock in the bowling lineup of England throughout this one. As we can see, Marcus Harris, he was 3 of 17 balls. He has already faced more deliveries in this one than he did in the first innings last time for Australia. Labuschagne came out there and was able to get 74 of 117 6 fours and 2 sixes for him with that strike rate going around that 63.3. Steve Smith is buddy going at 63.2. He is the captain for this game due to Pat Cummins being a close contact to a COVID case. It does mean that he is not allowed to be out there for the next 7 days for Australia, so that will hurt big time for him. Apologies on Spencer's behalf. The alcohol and heat have got into it as well. Since I've actually there, also, Hamish, I could cause some chaos between Stark and Healy. I could tell them that one of them are cheating on you when I see one of them as well. Says Aiden, I don't know whether or not that would be the best idea overall, because or else then I wouldn't be surprised if our channel ended up just disappearing. One of them probably would decide to take us down. And also Australia just don't want to lose the test on the first day. Can't win it on day one, but can lose it as well. Says Kai Brim, exactly right. And Steve Smith in the pre-match interview after the toss when they decided they wanted to bat was asked the question of why they decided that batting would be the way to go. And he said pretty much that exact thing. He said that they want to try and control the test match from the start of it. It is going to be Warner trying to get the single, not quite able to get through though. And he is still yet to get off the mark. Also Harris, the entire English batting lineup as well. Says Mark Morris there for who is better, at the moment. Marcus Harris, he's looking pretty solid early on. He's had a couple little wobbles in terms of the fact of almost getting the edge from Jimmy Anderson. And also it was Stuart Broad who was almost able to pick him up LBW. But it's looking like early on, like they mentioned, the pitch is pretty dry at the moment. They've had a couple pretty hot days leading up to this one, whereas last time they had a little bit of wetness. So it did cause them to get just a little bit. Oh, beautiful delivery once again for Anderson to close out his over. That is going to be 7 overs down, 4-0 here for the Australians. But yeah, pretty much before the matchup, they did say a couple heat kind of days in a row has meant that the pitch might be a little bit more speedy in the later stages as well. Might be doing a bit more. You mean I'll be in a lot of trouble if I said that, Hamish? You reckon me and Stark will have a fight as well? Says Aiden there, and these English bowlers beating so many bats. Shame that they can't aim as well. Says that Mark Morris there in the chat as well. But at the moment, we have got ourselves the first drinks break after 7 overs. There will be plenty of them throughout the whole series just because it is going to be extremely hot in Adelaide. You do not want to get dehydrated out there. So anyone who hasn't already, be sure to grab yourself a drink of some sort. I've got water as my beverage of choice, but a few of you guys might be on the slightly harder stuff once again. Dot ball there for Stuart Broad. And like they are saying there, Mark Wood, the reason he is out for this one, he's only played back-to-back test matches 3 times. So they have decided that they do not want to risk him for this one. It would be a shame to see him get injured in this matchup. But Australia, they won the toss. They decided that they want to have a bat. It was Steve Smith who was in charge due to Pat Cummins, unfortunately for himself, getting a little bit of a COVID scare a couple of days ago. Or I believe it was actually just before the matchup as well that he did find out. Nicely bowled once again by Broad. And it is once again going to be the dot ball. Only 29 degrees in Adelaide as well. I like how you say only 29. Like we are sitting 15 degrees and also raining here. And it's quite warm, I'll be honest, here in New Zealand. So 29, like at the moment with the sun blaring down, I'm sure that will slowly get to the players throughout the rest of the day. But yeah, we are hoping to cover most of day one of the Ashes. We might be back for all of the sessions of day 2. We will have to wait and see how the schedule kind of links up in terms of these matches. But I will certainly be watching the whole test match. And it should be a very exciting one to see whether or not Australia can get themselves into a winning position after just day one. If they can bring up quite a few runs in this opening run partnership. Stuart Broad once again going, it's down the leg side. It's hit the glove, is it? And it's taken there by, it was Josh Butler. And that is now going to be the wicket of Harris. And he is on his way. And that one, they are probably going to be checking the front foot just to make sure Healy's with Stark as well. Says it Robert there, but that is the first wicket. And it is Marcus Harris who does go. I'm going to say the only reason that is good is because I keep on calling him Nathan. Off the glove there, almost off the back of the bat as well. And a great take there for Josh Butler. Able to go to the side, take that catch nicely, and that is going to be the first wicket down for the Australians in this one. I've never used the word only for 29 degrees, and that was a fantastic keeper's catch. It was indeed. Josh Butler able to take that one. And Marcus Harris now 3 runs of 28 deliveries. He is going to be out, and Australia 1 for 4 here after 7.3 overs, but Stuart Broad is able to get once again another one of his left-handers. Harris is out as well as Sebastian. Be sure to use those emojis if you guys do have access to them as well for that wicket. Stuart Broad able to pick it up there. Australia, they won the toss. They decided that they wanted to bat, and now Marnus Labuschagne will be there as well. We have got their F off as well. Says Hamish Spencer there and also out. And they're from Robert and also, yeah, Robert, but I could tell one of them that they are cheating on you to cause some chaos as well. Let's go, Marnie. In the chat says Mark Morris. How many runs do we think Marcus Labuschagne will be able to get himself? Marnus. I called him Marcus. Now I'm calling him Marcus rather than Marcus Harris Marcus. It's all over the place. Marnus Labuschagne at the moment is average of 61.22. Very impressive for Marnus Labuschagne here. And he is going to be entering at number 3. The rest of the batting lineup that they have got themselves have still got Steve Smith, who might have to have a bit of a combination with Marnus, depending on how this partnership goes. Then they have got at number 5, they are going with Travis Head, who was able to bring himself up 150 runs in his first innings of the last one. Cameron Green, unfortunately for him, did end up getting that duck. Carey going to be batting and also keeping for this matchup. Nisa brought in, that was for Pat Cummins, Mitchell Stark, Nathan Lyon, and Jai Richardson. Plays very nicely for the Perth Scorchers. I believe he was almost able to get himself the golden cap last year as well with the ball in and 100 runs with Steve Smith, 100 as well. So he's 8 in there. And the Jets, so perhaps it will be able to go nicely for them. A 200-run partnership between those two would be pretty awesome. 100 runs as well, says Robert, for how many runs we think Marnus Labuschagne will be able to get. But this is the first sight that we are getting to see of a right-hander for the Australian batting lineup, because the next batsman in Steve Smith, he is also right-handed for this one. And then from there, I'm trying to think of who else they have got who's a lefty. Mitchell Stark, does he bat left-handed or just bowl left-handed? I know that some batsmen do like to go like one way and one the other way. And also, whereas Will Pukovski, I would love to see him in the Aussie Test opening kind of side of it as well. I believe they've got Usman Khawaja as another option, but I'm not too sure whether is Pukovski in their side for this one, or have they just got Khawaja as their replacement opener? Do let me know. And also, by the way, Hamish, should I do what I said or not? Says Aiden, I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think they have actually got a leg slip there. So Rory Burns would have been ready for it if it did go just a little bit wider. Actually, it was Hamed who was out there as well. And also we have got there, we know what happens when Marnus, or with Marnus and Warner at the Adelaide Pink Ball Test as well, says Kai Broom, and Kerry Stark are the other lefties as well. They've also got Alex Carey as the other option there. So now Stuart Broad being able to pick up the first lefty. Will he be able to get Warner as well? It seems to be that battle from the 2019 Ashes will be happening throughout this test match as well. Marnus Labuschagne locks that one nicely, hits it down the ground, and straight away runs for Marnus. Going to be at least the 2 here. And it looks like they are going to be able to get back for 3. Nicely done there. And it is going to be thrown from the deep there by Jimmy Anderson. So 3 runs straight away for Marnus Labuschagne, and he moves up onto 3 runs off only the 2 deliveries as well. Going at more than a strike rate of 100 at the moment for Marnus, but a good aggressive shot straight away from him. Sitting it nicely down the ground, following the line of the ball, and is able to pick himself up some nice early runs as well. Will's injured with concussion issues as well, says Robert there. For Will Pukovski, it wasn't in Shield cricket that he ended up picking up another concussion, Robert. So I think I might have heard that a little while ago, that he has been having, like, how many concussions? I think I heard something like he said about 7 concussions so far, or something like that. I could be wrong there, but I believe it's a massive number for Will Pukovski in just his early stage of his kind of career as well. But it is going to be Warner on strike to Stuart Broad. That's at the back leg there. Is that going to be the wicket? They're appealing. What did it hit? They have said not out. Now, this is the question of, did it end up hitting the bat, or did it end up just going straight through off the pad there? They aren't 100% sure. They've got 3 that they can decide to. They've run out of time there. England decides against it. And yes, sure was Hamish as well, says it Robert there. Oh, did they go upstairs here? Yes, they have. So they're going to be checking this one. So I think they are checking this one, first of all, for court, and then they've also got the option of LBW perhaps, but I think it was hit outside the line there for David Warner. He looks pretty cool, calm, and collected at the moment there for David Warner. I think he's just asked the question, David Warner, are you going for the LBW or the court? So Stuart Broad from the wide angle cuts back in very nicely. It's hit him on the back leg there, so that's going to be too high. And I believe there is space in between bat and ball, so I don't think this is going to be out. It's like, I think it's like 7 concussions in like 3 years. Yeah, that's a crazy number for as well. No edge on that one for David Warner, and I believe this ball is going too high for the stump. So that will be the review lost early on for England in this matchup. Yeah, nothing on that one. It was hitting up on top of the thigh pad kind of region as well. So it does mean that that is going to be not out for David Warner unless something drastic happens and that ball somehow goes like that off the LBW kind of ball tracker here. It's also impact umpire's call, so it would be out anyway. And it has gone over the stumps by about half of a 6-inch foot long, or half of a 6-inch from Subway. We will run off in terms of the length. So one of those kiddie ones that you used to get when you were at school, but that is going to be not out, and that will be the review lost here for them as well. And Broad's going to tire himself out with all these appeals as well, says Mark Morrissey. He's been busy so far. I believe that's about the 4th one, but that is the end of the Broad over. 7 for 1 here for the Australians. A little bit disappointed with that one. Stuart Broad would have loved to be able to pick him up earlier. Hindi Song Power said you are good as well. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciate you guys all being here. If you are new to this channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We have got plenty more of the Ashes coming in the future. I had like 7 concussions through AFL cricket and soccer across 8 years, and that was a lot as well. Says Kai Broom. How many of those came from each of the individual sports, Kai? Do let me know. How many concussions came from your soccer? Do let me know. And was it from like smacking your head on the ball, or like from headers type thing, or was it from like actually like, running into the post? I know that that's pretty solid. If you are the goalkeeper, you shouldn't be doing that, ladies and gentlemen. I don't recommend running into running into poles and whatnot. What a waste of time. England should be fined as well, says Hamish Spencer. Although that one wasn't too bad because they did still go upstairs for the DRS and whatnot. So at least they did, I guess you could say, follow through with it as well. And Suno as well there from Hindi Song Power. But it is going to be Jimmy Anderson once again bowling that one. A little bit of in-swing there for Jimmy Anderson. Marnus Labuschagne getting his first look at Jimmy Anderson here as well. At the moment, 3 runs off 3 balls here for Marnus Labuschagne. Certainly has an impressive average, over 60 runs in the last innings that we did see from him. He was able to get himself in that position of getting, there we go, we'll put it up for you guys. He was able to get 74 runs off 117 balls, 6 fours, 2 sixes for that man with a strike rate of 63.3 in the end for Marnus. Has just left that one, and once again it is that abrasive leave with the no-run call from Marnus, something that he does very often at the crease as well. And also I'm Hindi talking as well, and there says Hindi Song Power, and also we have got there's no way they will be able to make the required overs as well, says Mark Morris. And we do already know that they were able to get themselves fined 100% of their match fee, I believe it was. Although soccer was twice, slide tackles, AFL was like 4 through dangerous tackles, one being a shoulder charge straight to the head, and one was a delayed concussion in cricket. Ended up making 86 that game, says Skybroom. So that's probably a pretty impressive innings. Just clips the pad on the way through. It was a little bit too high. And it is once again just going to be the dot ball. We have got there. How about 4 runs at 7 overs as well? I thought that Marcus and David forgot they can swing as well. Says it was Sebastian there. Also England, God save the Queen. Please, England, get another wicket as well. Says Aiden there in the chat as well. Do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, we have got a poll going for who you think will have the better of the first session. At the moment, you would say that England being able to pick up that wicket, head outside the line there for Marnus Labuschagne, I should say. As well, I feel like I'm getting used to saying it the South African way with Labuschagne, as well as kind of the pronunciation along those lines. And I got one knock when I was like 0 or 1 as well. And says Sky Broom there in the chat. But at the moment, Marnus Labuschagne is going to be on strike once again. Anderson, 3 dots in a row here. Nice pitched up delivery, but it is going to be driven by Marnus, who was well and truly up for it. And this one could be being close to the first boundary. No, it's going to pull up there in the outfield. Which is a lush one, and Ben Stokes able to cut it off. And that is going to be another 3 runs for Marnus Labuschagne there. Currently sitting on the 6 runs as well. It's 10 concussions in 3 years as well, says Robert there. And also my name is Ayush. You can tell me as well. So welcome in, Ayush. Hope you are doing well. Do let me know who you think will be winning this test match between Australia and also England. That's the thing. Australia, from the 8 games that they have played for pink ball cricket, they have never lost one. So that is going to be the record that they continue to try and keep going. Hopefully England doesn't play or overplay James and Brody as well there from Kevin, and also Warner still got nothing as well. There's a nice shot down the ground. Now he gets himself his first single of the day, and David Warner gets off the mark. It took him 20 balls, but that is going to be his first run of the match as well. We have got there. I reckon they will as well, says Mark Morris there. Labuschagne currently sitting on 6 of 6. The last wicket was Marcus Harris to go out 3 runs of 28 deliveries. And something else that I might do here. All right, as well, we will go like this, and we will go like this as well. And we will go wickets. There we go. And it was in the end, unfortunately for him, Marcus Harris, he was on his way, and he did end up losing his wicket. I'm going to write out how many runs he was able to get. Marcus Harris, he got 3 off 20 deliveries there. Nice delivery once again from Jimmy Anderson, keeping it straight and keeping it nice. Aggressive bowling from him so far. There we go. Wickets, Marcus Harris, 3 off 28. And now at the stage, Steve Smith going to be the next man. Your thing scrolling across has Marnus still coming in as well. Says it was Robert there, so we have just updated it so that we have got Marnus off there as well. At the moment, 11 runs for 1 after the 9 as well. Warner, next one to drop as well. Says Aiden there for the prediction there, and it could be the case. Warner was able to get himself 94 in the first innings. And the last matchup that he did get to bat. The second one, he didn't really need to do too much, but that was because Australia well and truly put themselves in a winning position. It was just that glove and also the back of the bat, I believe it was, for Marcus Harris, and that is how he lost his wicket. Unfortunately for him, just ended up chasing the one down leg side. Was a bit of a freebie, but wasn't able to get onto it. And because of it, it was actually one of the shortest deliveries, and it was actually the shortest delivery that Marcus Harris did face from Stuart Broad and Warner to declare after 1,000 runs as well there, says it Mark Morrissey. Imagine that. I mean, is his best that 335 that we mentioned earlier on, or has he got any more than that? Looks like Chris Wokesy are going to be warming up, so they have switched out Jimmy Anderson there. Mark Morrissey dreaming as well, says Ada there in the chat. Well, 1,000 runs. Imagine that. Who was it? What is the highest score ever scored in a test match by one individual batsman? Nicely pitched up there from Chris Wokes. He does like to get that ball to swing. How many runs you got them making in this session as well, says Robert. I think my prediction, originally I said 80, but looking at the way that they are going here at the moment, I would say probably like 65 or somewhere around there. English fans are always dreaming as well, says that Mark Morris there in the chat, but at the moment, it is going to be David Warner at the crease. They were mentioning there about his rib injury, Joe Root to make 200 as well, and namaste in the chat from it was Ayush as well. Currently, Woke's going to be bowling it from across the body of David Warner once again here. Trying to lure him in. And also with the fact that Wokes does like to pitch it up just a little bit more, it does mean now that LBW is probably more in effect than it was for Jimmy Anderson and also Stuart Broad, because he has already gone with almost two. I call them about 3 meters out from the batsman or somewhere around there. 335 is Warner's top score as Joe Root to make a second duck as well. Says Mark Morris there in the chat as well. But Joe Root at the moment, he will be, I guess, he won't be too happy with the fact that they are out in the outfield, but you got to do it at some stage. And if they can pick up a few early wickets like they were for Marcus Harris, once again going to be left by Warner outside of the off stump. So now on one run of 23 deliveries at the moment there for David Warner. So it's been a slow start for him, but like we were mentioning earlier on, he will just be trying to bat time, wear out this English bowling attack, because at the end of the day, like someone said as well, you can win a test match or you can lose a test match in the first day, but you can't win it as well. There we go. Now it is going to be Warner once again receiving that one a little bit down leg side, and they won't be able to get the single there. Stuart Broad trying to take a shot at the stumps, but does just miss it as well. Warner was going to be safe anyway. Very quick between the wickets, David Warner, and him and Labuschagne both being out of the crease. I feel like that is the perfect opportunity to just keep that strike rotating as well. Keep the pressure on England. At the moment, it's 11 for 1. They've almost bowled 10 overs. Hasn't really been too many freebies. I'd say the worst delivery was probably the one that got the wicket in the end, but then saying that, it was probably part of Stuart Broad's plan at the Ashes. Adelaide Oval, 1 for 84 and 4 for 36 here for Chris Wokes. That was in 2017, 2018, so a little while ago. Joe Root to make a 0 as well, says Hamish Spencer there. Nicely bowled there and hit down the ground from David Warner. Once again cut off though with some good fielding from England. We have got there Brian Lara as well. West Indies 400 runs from 582 balls as well. 778 minutes at the crease. That is absolutely insane. That is for sure. But Brian Lara, he was just a class above the rest. At the moment, Stuart Broad, he is signing autographs, but he's very strategic with the location, because with him signing autographs on that side of the field, he's actually in the shade up there for thinking you don't play 150 test matches without learning a few tricks for Stuart Broad. Wokes once again on a nicely. And it is the dot ball to close out the over. Another maiden there for the English. And it is going to be now 11 for 1 after the 10 overs. At the moment, like they are mentioning, Pat Cummins out of this test match very late. Unfortunately for him, he is not going to be allowed to take part for the next 7 days. He will have to quarantine because he was a close contact to a COVID case. It was actually in the restaurant that they were eating at last night. Unfortunately for Cummins, he actually sat inside of the restaurant for eating rather than being outside like Nathan Lyon and Mitchell Stark. Imagine if they lost those two as well there for Australia. It would have been very tough indeed. And that was against England as well, says a Robert there in the chat. And hi, Kiwi lad, says Lila as well. Welcome in. Hope you are doing well at the moment. England, they have been able to pick up that early wicket. It was Stuart Broad was able to get the wicket in the end of Marcus Harris at the moment. It looks like Alex Carey, has got some sort of rap. He is at his home ground here for the Adelaide Strikers. Everything is fine as well there in the chat from Ayush. Yeah, at the moment, they will be just trying to build up a bit of a partnership. It is actually going to be Ollie Robertson now. 7 matches, 32 wickets. Has had a very good start to his English test bowling career. And also, yeah, it was against England. Avoided that detail conveniently as well, says Sebastian there in the chat. At the moment, Ollie Robertson, Tell you what, we haven't asked the question yet. How many wickets is the leading wicket taker for England going to be able to get in this one? Will it be Stuart Broad picking himself up? Maybe a 5 for nice slow ball there from Ollie Robertson, but it is going to be whipped away to the leg side by Labuschagne. He liked that one quite a bit, and they are going to be able to get the 2 runs off the very first ball of Ollie Robertson as well. The guy should get fined, as he knew he had a COVID test pending, because there was no way he was tested in the morning as well, says Sky Broom there as well. Yeah, it is pretty rough. That, like they were saying, the chances of it being the one restaurant where Pat Cummins was eating. And the worst thing is that guy was going to be going to the ground. He actually had tickets for this game. So he would have been at the ground there. So it's unfortunate for Pat Cummins, but it's good that they caught it as early as they did. Why does Steve Smith not open batting with David Warner? As I says, Kevin, I think he prefers being in that number 4 position, just being able to really shape the innings. They are going to be able to get 2 runs once again from Labuschagne. Geez, it was a little bit close, but they did not quite take the bails off as well. What will be the score in the first innings? I think Australia are probably looking at, I'd say they'll get around that 300 mark, maybe even more if they do get a good partnership going. But he did hit it to the square leg. And then from there, just running back and forth. Oh, he had to slide his bat. He definitely had to dive, or else he might have been gone there. Labuschagne and man England are just resorting to Jardine tactics. This is the only way they can play Warner, as if he's hurt as well. Says Mark Morris, although they did have Usman Khawaja that they decided against for the Australians, which I think he was right up till that final kind of moment. They were thinking that Khawaja was going to be in opening the batting. They certainly wouldn't have been expecting losing Hazelwood to the side strain as well as Cummins to that near COVID case, because that's the thing. 2014 was the last time that they didn't have both Cummins and Hazelwood in the side inside of Australia. As well, it's good that the man didn't get to join the crowd. He would have infected heaps as well. Exactly right. Like, thinking about it, if it was 5 days, although I'd like to think that his COVID test would have been back by about the 2nd or 3rd day, but imagine that sitting in an atmosphere inside of like a packed crowd. Like, that is just a super spreader event and a half. That is for sure. But 10 off 10 so far for Labuschagne compared to Warner, who is 1 of 26 deliveries in at the early stages of this one for himself as well. But 15 for 1, not too bad for Australia, only losing the 1 wicket so far in this session. I think both sides will be looking forward to that drinks break after 15 overs. Robertson, once again, it just ends up bouncing over the stumps. Marnus very good at reading the length early and being able to decide whether or not to leave that ball. The moment Marcus Harris, he was the last wicket. 3 runs off 28. It was Stuart Broad who was able to get his wicket. Bowling it down the leg side. It was a shorter delivery. And Marcus Harris, he decided to go for it. Did end up, unfortunately, for him, misconnecting with it as well. At the moment, like they're saying, Labuschagne, he loves at this stage leaving deliveries. That's the thing. Only out of the pitch map so far, 8 balls are hitting the stumps here for them as well. Everything else missing. That is about 50 balls that are missing the stumps there as well. So it is certainly going to be interesting whether or not England decide to pitch it up just that little bit more in the future, because 57 balls missing the stumps, 8 balls hitting the stumps. And looking at that pitch map, it is actually any ball that's hitting the stumps seems to be the ones that are actually relatively low as well. Although they do have a few balls that do actually show that they would be going close to the stumps if they were kind of going straight through as well. You are the best because I believe you. We've got there, I believe. Or because you believe it best as well. Says it was Ayush there in the chat, so I do appreciate you being here, mate. Hope you are enjoying the test commentary so far. That is the end of the first over for Robertson. Did end up going for the 4 runs, and it is 15 for 1 here for Australia once again now. So just that 1 wicket, like I mentioned, Marcus Harris. If they can get through this session without losing either Labuschagne or losing David Warner, I feel like that will be a slight win for the Australians. They just want to bat out this whole first day, see whether or not they can apply extra pressure to the English and this one as well with the ball in hand, because that's the thing. When we get into that day-night session, that last one, it will be 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. New Zealand time, or 12 a.m., I should say, midnight. That is when we're going to get to see a little bit more swing on off of Jimmy Anderson. We know what he can do with that ball in hand with the pink ball. I mean, he was able to get himself a 5 for last time he was on Australian soil. Whereas well, and Chris Wokes also does like getting himself a little bit of swing, but I believe in the background there, it is Steve Smith, the captain of Australia, warming up now. It does mean with Pat Cummins out, the co-captain does become the captain, and that is going to be Steve Smith for his first captaincy in quite a little while. It's going to be well bowled by Wokes, almost sneaking through the gap from David Warner, but he was able to block that one as well. He was going, why are England so bad as well, says Amy Spencer. Interesting question. And if sure, I'll ask you, I'll reverse it there, Hamish Spencer. Why do you think England are so bad with them picking up that early wicket in this one? Of course, they did lose the first test match, though, and they do certainly not want to lose this one. But with Broad and Anderson, it is going to be that they're bringing out all the stops, I should say, to be able to try and turn this one all around. Warner at the moment sitting 1 of 27 deliveries. Very patient. That's going to be close to LBW, and it is going to be given as not out. Was it pitching outside leg, or was it off the bat? Okay, they're all having a bit of a chat here for England. Do they go upstairs? They have. This could be their second one down for their reviews. Thought it might have been pitching outside leg a little bit there for him, but they are still going to be going upstairs with England's overrate. They won't have the new ball under lights as well. Says Kai Broom there, and also we have got the I'm subscribe you as well. Says Ayusha, thank you very much. David Warner, could he be on his way? I feel like my first reaction was it was slightly outside leg. And then the other factor, of course, is height for on this pitch. Okay, it's pitching in line. Oh, tell you what, if that hasn't hit the bat, that is very, very close. That hasn't hit the bat. This could actually be out here. David Warner could be on his way because I believe it has hit in line. Oh, he's got the little edge on it. But was it the edge after? I think it was actually the edge after the ball hit the pad, though. So they're going to have to check whether or not that was just before or just after here for it as well. Does it make contact with the bat or the pad first? Makes contact with... Oh, I think it's made contact with the pad. Yes, it has. I think it is going to be just the pad first, but it's extremely close for this one as well. I think he's just a little bit behind there, David Warner, with his bat. And I think this one will be interesting where Jofra Archer, he is talented. Is he injured as well? I think he is injured for this one, unfortunately. Now they are just looking at this one many, many times. I think it might have been the bat and the pad there. The back pad might have been where that hot spot came from on that one. I think this is going to be going through to the stump, or sorry, the ball tracking. This could be David Warner out here, depending on what we see now. That's at the pad first, I believe. This is so tough for the third umpire here in this matchup. I believe, yes, it has got the mark on there, but I believe he did hit the pad first for David Warner. So I think they will be going through to check the ball tracking here now. Back to it is going to be now going to the ball tracking. I believe they are saying that it's hit the pad first. And if Snicko is indecisive, do they have to uphold the umpire as well? Says Mark, I believe they would go through to the next stage. And I guess, actually, yeah, it would be. Like they are showing there, I believe with where David Warner would have struck that ball, it is not where it does actually hit the bat. Oh. Inconclusive. Okay. So it is going to be kept as not out because it is inconclusive for that one as well. So that is possibly a little bit of a lifeline there for David Warner in that situation. As BBL on tonight, we do not have any BBL games for another few days, unfortunately. But the next time that we are going to get to see it, it is going to be the Brisbane Heat taking on the Sydney Thunder. And that is on Sunday night, which will be day 4 of the test match. At the moment, they are going to be going back like they are saying. Maybe they should have checked whether or not it pitched in line to see whether or not it was as well on Kiwi. Why are you arranged test cricket here in live telecast as well? Test is very disgusting as well. I think ODI and T20 is beautiful. Well, what a patience you have as well, says Alila there. I love myself some test cricket. Definitely the Ashes. Are you commentating IPLs or also as well? I'm hoping to do some of the IPL. They are just showing there it was pitching outside leg anyway, so that actually saves a lot of the arguments that would have been taking place there. So I'm glad that they showed that so that it is one of those situations. Now, England only have the one review here, and they have already used 2 of them up in the first 11 overs of this match as well. But pitching outside leg, it certainly means that the controversy around that one is certainly, I guess you could say, completely taken away for that one as well. And at the moment, Warner still on strike, only scoring the 1 run down the ground so far for David Warner. 1 run off 30 deliveries. Wokes hasn't gone for a single run yet in this one, but I will mention, ladies and gentlemen, we have got the second session that we will be doing on the channel. It is going to be a very exciting one, and it is going to be myself, and we will have George with me, as well as cricket and rugby, the only sports you like as well, says Xavier Brown. I'm quite a fan of quite a few other sports that I haven't done commentary for. So I watch a little bit of, I guess, mixed martial arts. I also do enjoy watching football every once in a while. Basketball's not too bad either. When I do get the chance to watch it, hello, says Brandon as well. Welcome into the live stream, man. In England down to 1 review, says Kai. So that is not going to be too good for them as well. Your blast pair or your bass player as well, says it is Ayush. I'm not too sure what that refers to, unfortunately, there. But yeah, we will be having George here with us for the second one. And like I mentioned earlier on, George has probably watched about 10 minutes of cricket in general. I showed him the replay of the first matchup, and when Mitchell Starc bowled Rory Burns' first ball, he was like, oh, it's a point to England. So that tells you how much about cricket he does know, which is why it could be quite fun seeing him learn throughout this test match. He'll probably be joining me for the afternoon session on a lot of days to see whether or not we can teach him all about the wonders of the Ashes as well. Embarrassing England as well, says Irish Spencer there. And also we have got the AQ Lads IMB as well. Says it was Brandon there in the chat. But now at this stage, 12 overs down. And it looks like we are going to be having the drinks. So at this stage, 15 for 1. Slow start for Australia, but they have only lost that one wicket of Marcus Harris, who got 3 runs of 28 deliveries. I am you cricket lover present now as well from Bangladesh as well, says Cricket Lover. So I hope you are doing well, mate. I am doing very well indeed. I'm excited for the Ashes. We are back for another one. And the last test match that I covered would have been a long time ago if we have ever covered one. So that is why it's going to be so exciting to see how this match goes as well. We're sitting at 6 p.m. at the moment. So that is actually the first hour down of the test. So they're 3 overs behind at this stage in terms of the rate that they have been going with England. So they will have to try and speed it up a little bit for the next hour if they do want to get through that 30 overs that they will be aiming for as well. But it is drinks at the moment. Australia, they chose to bat Steve Smith as the captain. That is due to Pat Cummins being out. Unfortunately, being a close contact with a COVID case in a restaurant. And also we have got there as out a sitting player as well. And there says it was Ayush there as well. But Warner, he has actually got himself a rib injury at the moment, but he is still going to be sitting out there. He decided he wanted to play. Usman Khawaja was the other option that they could have gone with as well. And also we have got there, I'm going to have 1 day off from YouTube tomorrow as 4 live stream in a row as well, says Brandon. So that is a smart move. You've got to pace yourself in those situations as well. But we have got there, when do the Kiwis play their next test? I know that we were going to have one early next year, but I believe Bangladesh have actually got a couple positive cases coming back now, but it's supposed to be the New Year's Day test match, I believe it is, here in New Zealand, but we're going to have to wait and see whether or not that one will be able to take place. We have got their boss, Robert, are you there as well? And now the idiots are wasting their reviews out good as well, says Amish Spencer. Yes, so at the moment, only the 1 review left here for England. And if they use it up in this first session, I feel like they'll be hesitant to try and go upstairs, definitely with the amount that the ball is kind of bouncing as soon as it hits this Adelaide Oval surface. It's looking like a good wicket. It's looking like it hasn't really... I feel like it's probably about day 3 or so before it really starts to have any effect. Unless, of course, I mean, the more heat that we have in these days leading up to it, I mean, you'll probably get a few cracks as well on there as well. But Pat Cummins, I almost got him, but Pat Cummins, due to the fact that he was a close contact, even though he did end up in that situation of it being the close contact, he is tested negative, but he still has to have 7 days of isolation as well. That is due to the law in the region that they are in for South Australia. We have got there, got a text in the middle of dinner to say he was positive. WDF, the ref's fine as well, says the Kai Broom there. And also I'm seeing 12 a.m. to 1:09 p.m. as well, says the Brandon there. So that is going to be a very long day for yourself. But Michael Nessa going to be brought in. He has been 12-man many times for the Australians, so he will be happy to get himself an opportunity. He won't get a chance with the ball in hand, but he will actually have his first appearance with the bat perhaps if he is needed later on. But he will be batting at about 7 or so, same as where Pat Cummins will be going in, or it might actually be 8, as well. Steve Smith at 4, Travis Head at 5, Cameron Green, then Alex Carey, and then at 8, it is going to be Michael Nessa there as well. We have got the good YouTuber as well, since it was Ayosh. So thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciate you being here for this one. Robertson once again has bowled the 1 over so far. Shot down the ground from Labuschagne, goes straight to the man, Anderson, who is fielding at mid-off. And he is, mid-on, has been able to cut it off as well. But Labuschagne at the moment, we've had a few predictions. Does anyone think that Labuschagne will get less than 100 in this innings? Do let me know. I know that a lot of people have been saying he's going through to the 100. Him and Steve Smith both getting their centuries. I feel like the best time to get Marnus Labuschagne out is when he is still very early in his innings. Less than about 50 balls is when he is his most vulnerable. And then after 50, he normally just keeps on going as well. Nicely bowled once again by Robinson, keeping it straight. And it was blocked by Marnus once again with the 4th defensive. We have got there Noah Bed at 12 a.m. to 1 p.m. as well, says Brandon there. So a 13-hour sleep for yourself there, Brandon. At the moment, Australia, they have got a 56% chance of winning this test match, 16% chance of a draw, and then England have a 28% chance of being able to win it. And also, isn't Labuschagne South Africa? So did South Africa ever try and get him to play for them, says Xavier. He's actually Greek. Do they play cricket in Greek for the international team, though? Is a big question. But yeah, his parents are Greek. So he does have a nickname, or he doesn't have a nickname. Sorry, he has a last name that is relatively similar to a lot of South Africans in terms of they would pronounce it as Labuschagne, but instead, Labuschagne, he goes with Labuschagne. And yeah, I believe his parents are Greek, or one parent is Greek and the other is, where's his mother from? His dad is Greek, his mother is from somewhere else in Europe, I believe it is, if I'm not wrong. Now, at the moment, Labuschagne sitting on 10 runs off 16 deliveries now. Robertson pitches it up nicely, and once again, it's going to be blocked by Labuschagne. I think Marnie moved to Australia fairly young as well, says Mark Morrissey, and also not everyone is South African as well, says Amy Spencer there. And the chat, I mean, to be fair, for New Zealand's cricket team, we pretty much are. We got who? BJ Watling, we got Devon Conway, we got Neil Wagner. Who else have we got that's South African in our New Zealand lineup as well? We got plenty of them. Good players of the cricket old South Africans. As well, but at the moment, Labuschagne, he's been going at a decent rate. Was able to get himself 3 runs off the second delivery that he did face. Robertson at the moment, 4 dots in a row. And once again, that's going to be the 5th because Labuschagne not taking any risks, just blocking that one, trying to wear down this English bowling attack here for themselves. But Robinson, he's already been able to pick himself up. I believe it was his 35 wickets or so from his first 7 test matches, which is very nicely done. Anderson also in that bowling lineup. Stuart Broad as well. Both of those two men combined have over 1,000 wickets. Stuart Broad, 150th test match for him today here at the Adelaide Oval, and it is looking like it's a pretty warm day at the moment. The Australian summer has fully kicked in, and we are going to get to see the Boxing Day test next week as well, once again blocked by Labuschagne, and that is going to be the maiden over once again for Robinson. But it is going to be interesting to see how that match at the Boxing Day test match at the MCG is going to be going, whether or not they can get the full 80,000 on offer for it. But that is going to be the game 26th of December through to the 30th of December. Then January 5th to January 9th, we are going to get to see the game take place at the SCG. And then it is going to be Australia versus England. It says to be determined for the time, but it is going to be taking place in Hobart for that matchup, so they won't be allowed the same number in attendance as they would have been able to have at the MCG or anywhere like that, but it is still going to be a very exciting occasion to see that final one, and imagine if it does end up as the decider as well. We have got there, are you understand Hindi? I do not, unfortunately. I'd love to be able to learn some, but just haven't really had the chance as well. I feel like Australia bat so slow. I think it is all down to the factor of there's just no hurry. Like, we only saw 3.5 days used in the last test match, although it will backfire for Australia if they do end up losing a few wickets here. Maybe they will be like, should we have gone for a little bit more minus 25 or 26, I think, and can't wait for the League World Cup as well, says Mark Morris. Yeah, that's going to be a pretty awesome one in the later stages of 2022, and also already can't wait for England versus New Zealand versus South Africa as well, says Eden. Since it was inconclusive, did they keep their review as well? I believe they actually lose it, I want to say, if I'm not wrong. And also we've got that Hayes Me Kyle as well. Welcome in, Kyle. Hope you are doing well, mate, and hope you are excited for the second match of the Ashes as well. Subscribe to the Kiwi Lads, and if you're new and see a lot of new people as well, says that Brandon there. Yeah, if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are back every single day of the Ashes with at least one session. The next session we are covering, it is going to be starting at around that 7:30 mark, and it is going to be George who will be joining us, who has watched pretty much no cricket at all, so he won't understand what's going on, but we will be able to teach him. So be sure to help him out as well. Stoinis is Greek as well, says Guide Room. Yeah, the big Stoin. I feel like that makes sense because he looks like one of those Greek statues that you see in the past as well. Marcus Stoinis spends more time probably in the gym than he does out on the cricket field, that is for sure. But Chris Wokes just getting a bit of in-swing there and also hitting the bat of it was a Warner at the moment. Whether or not they do try and bowl him, a bounce that we have got there. Sam Cotton played nice shot there from Warner out through cover, and that is going to be his first boundary of the day and also his first run since the 20th ball that he has faced. I miss your rugby streams as well, says Kyle. They are going to be coming back very soon, that is for sure. Not just for the Champions Cup, but also for the gaming as well. And George Gray, they should be fun though as well, says Aiden. Yeah, it is going to be interesting. Like I mentioned the earlier on stage, when Mitchell Starc got that first ball wicket of Rory Burns, he said that it was 1-0 to England in that situation. Beautiful strike from Dave there as well, says Mark Morrison. Come on, Kiwi lads. And Isaac, he wants to play Forza Horizon 5 as well. Manus is 27 as well, says Kai Broom there. How old he is, but at the moment, Warner batting outside of his crease. Does enjoy doing that, kind of isolates the chance of an LBW as well when he is getting down to the pitch of the ball. It's just a good back shot or back foot cover drive almost it was. The cross bat shot from Warner, and it is nicely done. Anton said need another wicket. They do indeed. If they can pick up Warner, or I feel like at the moment, that's the thing. If you were from England, who do you want to get out more? David Warner, Manus Labuschagne. Which one would you choose? For that one, tell him to buy a bucket of chicken to share, as says Aiden there in the chat. I think he was having steak for tea. That is the short ball there from David Warner, or on David Warner. Oh, it's called a white there for Chris Wokes. Oh, Chris Wokes, sorry, a little bit above the shoulder there. At the moment, 13.5 there, and also Manus not going to lie in. How's it, bro? As well, says Roy. Welcome into the lights room. And Labuschagne is the call as well there. Yeah, no, that's gone quite high there for Chris Wokes. Did try the bounce, of course. Warner with his injured ribs won't be too keen on exposing them with a pull shot, and Manus definitely as well, says Sebastian there. Going to be nicely pitched up, and it is outside of the off stump. That's the end of the 14th, 21 for 1 here for the Australians. Manus was on hotspot duty at the 2010 11 Ashes as well, says Sky Broom there, and Kate Dixon in the chat says Brandon there in the chat as well. So everyone's saying that Manus Labuschagne, that is the big wicket that you want to be able to get yourself. I'm going to ask the question again. David Warner or Steve Smith? I feel like I'm going to be able to get the possibly same one as well. Also, we have got there watching from Canada, no live stream link as well, says Anton there. Yeah, unfortunately, they need to make the Ashes more accessible around the world. I know that if you have got a VPN, have you got a VPN, Anton? Because you might be able to access it on, I believe it's on 7+ in Australia, if I'm not wrong. We have got there Warner. Obviously, the more he stays in, the more dangerous he gets. As well, says Aiden there. And where are you from? I am from New Zealand, so I am impartial for who I want to be able to win this game, which is always good to be because of the fact that I can see both sides of the story as well. Kiwi lads, for you, question, what is your favourite sport? I would say cricket and also rugby. They're both hand in hand as well. Warner is just cunning and cheeky in test as well, says Mark Morris there. And also we've got there Steve Smith from Sebastian. Also Warner most of the time doesn't really be convincing for his runs like last time. He got so many chances as well, says Prestige there, where he was able to get himself 94. And then I'm watching from India as well in the chat. So welcome in from India. I hope you are doing well. What time is it in India at the moment? Do let me know. Labuschagne batting outside of his crease as well here. And Robertson will once again be bowling. That's at the back leg. I think it's bouncing over though. Well, as well on One Sports as well, says Brandon. I feel like I've got one winter sport and one summer sport. It is extremely hard to just pick one of the two, just because I love them in all these different ways as well. In the back leg of Manus just bouncing up a little bit too much there. At the moment, Manus left it late, just over the bails there for that one as well. And Robertson thought about appealing, but just a little bit too much height on it. You've got to really pitch the ball up if you want an LBW here on the Adelaide Oval. It is certainly coming through nicely. The pitch, I believe they said 8 millimeters of grass, same as they did have for the last one as well between these two sides at Adelaide. It's looking like a good surface. It's looking like maybe Nathan Lyon on the 5th day will really be able to cause some havoc. If it does make it to the 5th day, that is, because we have got still plenty of sessions coming up as well. They're showing here the run-out opportunity of Manus Labuschagne. It would have been very close to him being run out extremely early as well in this one. In the end, just not quite able to get it. English bowlers will break before the Australia top 6 do as well, says Mark Morris there. And also, hello, says Monkey Man. Welcome into the live stream, mate. I hope you are doing well. Nicely played. Once again, also, who's the Indian #1 YouTuber as well, says it was Ayush. That's a good question. I'm not actually too sure. I know that I've probably watched a couple Indian YouTubers in the past, but I can't think of any when it comes to cricket, when it comes to mind type thing. And also already behind and overrated, even with all interruptions as well, says it was there from Kai. And there, or behind the overrate, I believe that would be from Kai Broom. And also, we have got there in the chat. Question for you, lads. What do you think you're going to do on YouTube in 2022 videos-wise? I think we will still be doing our cricket, our rugby, maybe a couple other sports do find their way in there as well. And also the gaming, which is where it all started for the Kiwi lads as well. We have got there in the chat as well. English bowlers will break. So I'll ask the question, ladies and gentlemen. 5 dot balls in a row here for Ollie Robertson. Who is going to be the man who does pick up the next wicket? Will it be Stuart Broad, maybe brought back into the bowling attack? Can Joe Root do a bit of a part-timer and get himself the wicket. Can Warner get a century? I feel like, it's a tough one for now. The way that he's going, David Warner, he's probably looking at facing about, how many would he have to face to get the century? About 900 balls to get the century, but I know that he will speed up at some stage there. Marnus leads that one. Once again, can you do football as well, says Brandon? Perhaps we could do a few football matches as well. I know the FIFA World Cup coming up extremely soon, but that is the end of the 15th over, and it is going to be 20 for 1 here for the Australians. But Marnus Labuschagne at the moment, they are just showing that leaving technique. He sometimes doesn't spin, sometimes just goes all over the place for himself. Definitely very unique when it comes to how he leaves the ball, Marnus. But it was nicely done there. It was in the end. Yeah, it's a good leave from Marnus. That's the thing. The ball is going to be going just over the stumps a majority of the time. I am coming every time you do is football as well, or you do football as well, says Brandon. So we are hopefully going to be able to do a little bit of the, I want to do the A-League, but I haven't had a chance to watch too much of it. Definitely with the KFC Big Bash overlapping pretty much a majority of those games as well, but it is going to be Wokes now once again getting another opportunity. Nicely bowled. David Warner says no run there. And day 4, session 1, Warner brings up a well-deserved century as well, says Guy Broom there. And also, who is the best, Bubba? Smith, Coley, Root, or Williamson as well? I feel like you've just named the best player for 5 different teams. It's extremely tough to pick them out in that regard, just because of how class all of them individually are. They're all in that situation. I believe you just said almost all of the captains as well. So they've all got those individual traits that do make them the best for their sides. It's a tough one. Of course, as a Kiwi, I would probably say Williamson because I've seen him the most, but Virat Kohli certainly up there. Steve Smith, brilliant in the middle order, or in the top order, I should say as well. Joe Root, also very classy. That was in the air from Warner, but I believe he hit it into the surface first, and it does just fall safe for them as well. We have got the Akia Minati as Indian #1 YouTuber as well, and Root is the best player as well, says Anton there in the chat as well. How many runs do you think you will get off the bat, Anton? Do let me know. Is it Anton or Anton? Do let me know as well, because I want to make sure that I am pronouncing it correctly as well. But Warner sitting on 5 runs off 40 deliveries. No hurry at all here for David Warner. Just willing to sit out there. Have the Adelaide Oval just kind of soaking the heat into the English bodies for themselves. But Wokes, once again, it's just a little bit too wide, and it almost threw. Great save there from Hamid, and there from the kind of point region to be able to cut that one out. Or Hamid, sorry. And stick to the Big Bash. A-League is boring and garbage. Half of Australia can't even get access to the A-League as well, says Hamish Spencer there in the chat as well. Although I think the FIFA World Cup, I would be keen to do some live streams along the lines of that as well, because I have been watching a bit of the A-League just on the replay rather than the live games type thing as well. But at the moment, Wokes, it's only gone for the 5 runs so far of the 3 deliveries. That almost looks like if Ben Stokes grew out his hair in his beard. And he is another bowler they haven't used so far. And first pronunciation is correct, but they can, but here they call me the second pronunciation. So it's Anton, I assume it is, if I'm not wrong there. And also A-League is the most fun soccer league, but it is not good as well, says Mark Morris there. And also we have got there Coley in the chat from Gary. And also, do you want to spore as well? Says it was Brandon there. And Warner played like Pajara as well. Yeah, someone who knows a lot about just sitting at the crease, eating up balls from the bowler. Pajara, one of the best in the business when it comes to getting just in there for so long. The bowlers get frustrated. Nice shot there from Marnus, but straight to the man, Ben Stokes. So they have got a well-set field at the moment here for England, not really finding too many gaps. And at the moment, David Warner, 1-4 that we have got so far from him, and no 4 so far from Marnus. And also Warner plays like God as well, and Warner to start to play aggressive soon as well, says Rachid. Yeah, he's probably not too far off. I feel like this is all about surviving this first session. After the first session, he probably goes more aggressive in the second session, which is where we will have George, because George at the moment, like I said, he doesn't know anything really about cricket in general, let alone test cricket. So he'll be like, why didn't he just smack that one all the way for 6? Wait on as the call, and Hamid once again feeding that one nicely. 10 maidens so far for England so far, and it is going to be now sitting 16 overs down, 20 for 1 here for them as well. How's Wokes and Robertson, are they attacking as well? They're pitching it up just a little bit more than Broad and Anderson so far. Like, that's the thing. This pitch at the Adelaide Oval, you've got to get it right up there to be able to have any chance of the LBW. But Chris Wokes still bowling the way that he does, having it right up there, getting a little bit of swing early on, but that will certainly open up for him in the later session of the evening. Alongside, I would say, Ollie Robertson at the moment, his first over was a little bit, I guess you could say, leaky in terms of the runs that he did have scored off him. But after that, his second and also his third have been pretty strong as well. 2 maidens in a row. And also, what does it moderate? Moderate, do you want to be one on my YouTube channel as well, says Brandon? It is pretty much in the YouTube live streams, they have the ability of being able to time people out and whatnot as well. A little bit of a shorter ball there from Robinson, but Marnus just once again plays it off the leg, off the hip as well. And Virat Kohli lost his captains as well, says Kevin. I do see that he is out of is he out of the test side or the ODI side? And Rohit Sharma is out of the other one or something along those lines. Hi from Depth and Breath as well. Welcome in. Tim Payne, very unlucky as well there in the chat. And it is just showing that catch of, in the end, it was a very good take from that man, Josh Butley. He was doing very nicely in the last match with the bat in hand, and he has done very nicely to be able to take that first catching attempt as well outside of the off stump. Marnus leaves it. Once again, it will be a battle between Marnus and Robertson, but the thing is, Martin, I think I've just confused the two of them as well, pretty much. Marnus doesn't mind just having to leave the ball. Like, he will leave 50 in a row if he has to, while he waits for one of those perfect opportunities. And also, we've got there a blue spanner as well. Green are the members as well in there. And to be fair, scoring is down in pink ball test, but Aussies try to wear down the English as well as Sky Broom. And yeah, the last thing they want is to lose another wicket here in the opening session of the test match. You got plenty of time. We've still got another 2,500 balls. That one cut back in a little bit there for Robinson, but it's going to be too high once again. I believe there was a little bit of bat on it for Marnus. Labuschagne, Australia, they won the toss. Steve Smith, as the captain of them, he decided, you know what, we'll have a bat here on the surface. And I believe it was Joe Root who did say that he was going to be taken on the kind of challenge of batting first as well. Can you show the game, Seth Ratchet? Unfortunately, due to copyright, if I was to show any match footage or audio, we would get taken straight off YouTube and possibly sued. So unfortunately, I'm unable to show any of the live footage, but I can mention that the highlights of day one will be on cricket.com.au's YouTube channel. They will be showing all the highlights of the first day. And you speak really fast, though. Is that a Kiwi thing as well? Says Anton. I think it's just a me thing. I end up getting excited, and when I get excited, I end up going at about 1,000 words per minute almost for myself. But I think it is just pretty much me. I think a lot of Kiwis do talk slow. But for some reason, even with cricket, I end up talking way too quick. Like, that's the thing. The rugby live streams do go speedy as well in terms of the amount that I am saying. Cricket, you'd think it would be slower, but for some reason, just keeps on rolling off the tongue. We have got their live stream on Twitch coming back on January 16th for me as well. Says a Brandon there, and thanks from Ratchet as well. No worries, mate. But currently sitting almost another maiden here for Ollie Robertson. The question is, who breaks first? Does Australia start chasing that slightly wider ball, or does England start bowling at the stumps a little bit more, and then they do end up maybe whipping it to the leg side? I would say it's going to be England who do have to change their game plan first in this matchup, because Australia, they will be willing to let England just keep on bowling outside of the off stump. No worries there for them. But Labuschagne at the moment sitting on 10 runs off 30 deliveries. He was actually on 10 off 12, I believe, for Marnus. Once again, blocked nicely. Another maiden for Robinson, and that is going to be 17 overs down. Australia sitting on 1 for 20 here. And yeah, Payne was unlucky. He was going to take a selfie, but the camera was facing the wrong way. Says a mention there in the chat. Of course, that is why he is not there for the test match. And I want to be moderate as well. Says that is Brandon there. And chat, we've got quite a few at the moment, but once we do need a few more, we will be looking to you guys who are on these live streams regularly to be able to become the moderators. Having another drinks break, even though it's not sitting 29 degrees like it is in Adelaide, it's still pretty warm in here with the lights on. We have got there both now, Payne and Cummins, out for different reasons, as well, says Anton. And also, they are missing Josh Hazelwood, who is another bowler that they will not be happy to not have, but he has got a side strain, so that is why he is out. So instead of him, it is Jai Richardson, who is very good in a pink ball test as well. He's only had a couple chances, but he does make the most of them as well. And the big thing as well for them is the last time that they didn't have Hazelwood and Cummins, 2014 on Australian soil. So that is a little while as well. Australia will be happy to finish two sessions at about 80 or to 100 as well, if they have tied the bowlers as well, says Mark Morris, and also 30 in Northland as well, says Brandon. So it's certainly warm at the moment. Warner sitting on 5 runs of 44 deliveries here. No hurry at all for him, but he is up against Stuart Broad. Did have his number. Great cut shot there. Goes straight to Hamid, though. Big aggression from David Warner for that first delivery, and that's the thing. I feel like any time he gets the loose ball from Stuart Broad, he will try and take it on, because we saw in the Ashes in 2019, unfortunately for David Warner, Stuart Broad was just absolutely all over him. Nice cut shot, but hit it straight to Hamid. Nicely taken. It was almost going back over his head. I'm in Northland as well, says Brandon there, and Nessa on debut as well. Says Robert, he is indeed. So it will be a good opportunity to see how he goes as well. Where is Maxwell when you need him low as well, says Ratchet. Imagine seeing someone play a reverse shot in a test match, as in like they switch hit it. It'll be absolutely phenomenal once again. It is going to be the dot ball. David Warner just with the block there, and he was in the BBL yesterday, Richard, as well. There for Robert. Was able to bring up 103 runs for himself there. David Warner out. Or sorry, not out on 99. It was Josh Philippi was able to help the Sydney Sixers get their big victory in that matchup that from the start, they were the underdogs. They were able to fight hard, though, and they were able to get it going. They're showing there the broad speed so far. He's been around that 130 to 135 a lot of the time as well, and he was in the BBL yesterday. Says it was a Robert there. That's a good Yorker bowl, but it's a little bit too full for Stuart Broad, and now that's going down the ground. It looks like it might be pulling up once again. This is a long chase here for Ben Stokes, who has been able to cut it off, and they will once again get themselves the 3 runs. We have got the arm coming in the north, or in the coming to the south of New Zealand as well. Says Brandon there, come on, need a wicket. One before lunch as well, says Anton there as well. And are you doing any rugby streams this weekend, Hamish, as well, says Kevin. We are indeed, mate. We have got the Champions Cup. I'm not too sure how we will be balancing the Champions Cup and the Ashes, so there's a part of me that hopes this match is finished by about day 4 so that it does make it a little bit easier for the nighttime streams for the rugby as well. We have got there. My BBL fantasy was so good last night. Had both Philippi and Maxwell with Maxi as the cap as well. Says Guy, so he would have done very nicely for you in that regard. And the next BBL games that we have got, it is going to be on Sunday. So we've got a few days that we do not get any of them as well. Is it going to be... Is that the no ball from Stuart Broad? Yes, it is. It is a no ball once again from Stuart Broad. So that is the second time that he has messed that up there, which is not ideal at all. And also, yeah, we have got about the BBL fantasy. I've never actually looked into doing any kind of cricket fantasy or anything. I feel like I would be terrible at it. I'm normally not very good at predicting things overall. As you guys will know from the rugby live streams, Broad, once again, 4th delivery of the over. Nice bit of almost outwards movement there for Stuart Broad. Good line and length from him there. And now Marnus Labuschagne, this is actually one of the first times we get to see him face off against Stuart Broad for this test match. It certainly won't be the last of the series, though, with Broad possibly being brought in. I keep on saying brought in, and I keep on saying that as if it had the D on the end as well. But I am hoping it will be a very good battle for Stuart Broad. That's the thing, 150th test match to get through to even, like I mentioned earlier, the 50th test match is extremely impressive. But 150 for Stuart Broad, over 500 wickets. That's going to be so close to the outside edge of Marnus Labuschagne. He didn't leave that one, had to play at it. Does end up just missing the outside edge. Oh, that's very close for Marnus. That is a good length from Stuart Broad. Lewis in the front foot movement from Marnus, and very lucky not to get the outside edge there. And I'll be doing a 7 p.m. live stream to 9:20 with 4 in a row as well, says Brandon there. So you'll be a very busy man. We have got our next live stream as the afternoon session of this Ashes, and it is going to be myself, and it will be George as well. And also, almost a wicket as well, says Anton. It was indeed very close twice in a row there. But Stuart Broad, he's found his line and he's found his length to Marnus Labuschagne. He's got one more delivery left to try and see whether or not he can pick it up as well. It's just a great angle for Stuart Broad. He does love bowling it nice and wide of the crease. It's just coming in and then it's swinging away late for him as well. Hitting the seam and doing plenty at the moment there. And this pink ball one, like they've said, Marnus Labuschagne, 25 dot balls in a row at the moment for England. And at this next little stage, or I assume that is 25 dot balls in a row, for Stuart Broad. But this one, intense period here as we're waiting for the wicket as well. And how will Travis Head perform this test? It's going to be an interesting one. Oh, well bowled once again for Broad, just outside of the outside edge, 3 in a row, but does not pick up the massive wicket of Labuschagne. 18 overs down, 24 for 1 here. Well, then Broad is attacking like that mindset as well, says Anton. They're looking like they want a wicket before we get into the second session of the day, that is for sure. And when then I will be going to make all of them into an 11 minutes video. So wish me luck as well, says Brandon. So good luck there, mate. But going back to that question of how will Travis Head perform in this one, I feel like he should be able to go decently once again. Travis Head, I think as a batsman in that middle order, as soon as you get a massive total, it really gives you that confidence to keep on going as well. Like I will show what he was able to do in the first innings for a side. It was absolutely phenomenal from Travis Head, able to bring up a total of 152 of 148 deliveries, 15 fours, 4 sixes as well, with a strike rate of over 100, which is pretty impressive in a test match format. That is for sure. He was playing aggressively, brought up a very quick 100. I believe it was the 3rd quickest 100 or something along those lines. He was certainly in the top 5. But now I'm just waiting to see exactly who they decide that they do want to Have with the ball in hand. Nice big yawn there for myself. It's going to be Ben Stokes being brought into the bowling lineup now. As I'm looking at the fall of wickets here for Australia in their first session as well. It was Marcus Harris who did go out very early, similar to what we saw there, but then the next wicket was 47.2 overs in, and they will certainly not want to bowl that many here in the Adelaide heat for the English side. Me too as well, says Brandon there. I think he's going to make 120 as well, says Brandon there in the chat. As well there in the chat from Brandon. But now at the moment, Warner sitting on 8 runs of 48 deliveries. Labuschagne sitting on 10 runs of 35 deliveries. And like they are saying, David Warner, he's got a little bit of a sore rib, which is why maybe you bowl it a little bit shorter. And that's the thing. Stokes has got the shorter delivery and also the pitched up one that's going to be hit straight to Hamid. Once again, he's in a good position at the moment. Just keeps on in it straight back to him. I believe that's about the 5th one that has been hit hard at him. Go straight to. Another little yawn. I think it is the lights once again. I'm wondering whether or not to try and have George inside of the green screen as well. Have me here, George here. We will see whether or not it does work out for us, but he will be here for the second one, which will be starting at 7:30 p.m. New Zealand time. And what are live streams to 7 p.m. Kiwi lads as well, says Brandon. So we have got 7:30 will be our first one, little wedge, and it is trickling through the hands of Joe Root, but they do just get the single there, cutting it off nicely. That is something we haven't seen so far in this match, is an edge that has gone to the boundary. It's actually the most runs we've seen off an edge so far. England are actually keep Australia under control, as well, says Kevin, in 7 in a row. Says a Brand there, but it was nicely bowled once again by Stokes. It was almost the edge, but it was almost just glided to that kind of third man region by David Warner, looking to try and pierce the gap there. Now Labuschagne is going to be getting bowled to by Ben Stokes. No economy rate above 2. Very good bowling by the lads so far as well, says Sebastian. Yeah, they haven't really had too many looseners. Like I mentioned, it was actually probably the loosest delivery of them all. Picked up the wicket of Marcus Harris there when it was down leg side from Stuart Broad, and he did end up just not quite being able to catch up with that delivery. Now Stokes once again charging in shorter delivery to Marnus Labuschagne straight away from Ben Stokes, who certainly has that aggression when it comes to his bowling. And I would say that he is probably the most unpredictable bowler out of this lineup in terms of the length that he will bowl. He doesn't mind going for a Yorker, doesn't mind going for a bouncer, doesn't mind trying to hit you in the ribs and also putting it outside the off stumps. Does Stokes look fit, unlike first test as well. So far from his first over, he's not looking too bad. He did have to chase down one that did go to the boundary almost earlier on. So we will have to wait and see how many overs he can go back to back, because he did have quite a little bit of a spell there. Short ball once again, trying to get it into the rib cage of a Marnus. But Marnus is well and truly adapt to that by now. And also we have got the okay, Kiwi lads, I'm coming back at 7:30 to the live stream. So bye, as I says Brandon. So we will see you later on, mate. And yeah, hope you are doing well for yourself and enjoy your live streams as well. But currently 18.5 overs down here. And I have to say, I am loving the scoreboard because it is updating by itself, and it's also updating just after I have noticed it as well. So it is Root at first, slip, Burns at second, and then they've got Ollie Pope, who will be slotting in as kind of the gully at this point. So they actually have an extra fielder out, and I believe it is the man who has gone in at short mid-wicket for this field set. Stokes once again well bowled, and it's going to be hit down the ground from Marnus just for the dot ball, and that is going to be the end of the 19th over. 25 for 1 here as well, and also we have got the Anton. We're not expecting much from him as a bowler. He has to secure those sweet runs as a batter as well there. And yeah, shouldn't be interesting to see how Stokes does go with the bat. I will show you guys once again the English batting lineup that they did go with in that first test match. They did struggle a little bit in the opening. Of course, that massive wicket when they were able to get out Rory Burns for the first ball of the match at the Gabba. They've got Ben Stokes. He did only get himself 5 runs off the first 21 balls that he did face, although big factor there. See the man who was able to bowl him, Pat Cummins. He's not playing in this game. He is a close COVID case. So because of that, close contact of a COVID case, I should say. So because of that, it does mean that instead it is going to be Michael Nessa. Gets the opportunity well bowled once again by Stuart Broad. Was just steaming into the crease at the moment. Also, we have got there, how must you feel as an English player? Even if you geek or if you seek out the win, you probably won't get paid as well, says Mark Morris. Yeah, it is pretty rough in that regard. I assume that will end, or it probably is one of two effects. It either just fires them up completely to be able to rip straight through the batting attack of the Australians, or maybe you go kind of like in that situation, because I know that people were mentioning maybe England, like they would try and say that maybe they wouldn't even show up to this matchup because they did forfeit 100% of their match fee for this one. Of course, they've still got sponsors and everything, but they're away from their family, so they've got to make sure that they are going through that overrate. The live stream is tomorrow as well. Says up Brandon there, but 19.2 overs down at the moment here for Australia. Almost going at around that 1.2 probably an over so far here for Australia. But David Warner, he looks like he's in no rush at the moment. One thing that man knows how to do is just sit at the crease, and also I agree, but does he appear fit as well, like the usual normal Stokes? At the moment, I think it's very early to tell. He looks like he's probably slowly trying to ease back into it. I'm hoping with an extra week, he has been able to get himself a little bit more match fit. That's going to be a good shot from Warner. Goes away to the boundary out mid-wicket way, and that is going to be Warner's first boundary, his second four of the match there for David Warner now. Didn't try and overhit that one for David Warner. Moves up onto 13 runs now, but remember, England haven't won a day-night test in Australia. And the other thing is Australia have not lost a day-night test either. And Warner scores a boundary off Broad, says Mark there in the chat, and also almost are going to need to pay to play as well if they don't pick up their overrate, as says Kai Broom there. Yeah, that is true. At the moment, they are sitting. That's the thing. You want to try and get through 30 overs in a session. It's early to tell indeed, but he was pretty shocking in the first test. Can't do much worse, to be honest, as well. Says Labuschagne there, Stuart Broad. Once again, using that angle, almost able to take out the off stump of David Warner. Currently only gone for the 12 runs so far for Stuart Broad. That boundary ticks it up just a little bit more, though, but he had about 20... He had about 25 dot balls in a row, I believe they were saying a little bit earlier on as well for Stuart Broad. But this is going to be, at this stage, we're sitting only 25 minutes left of this session before we go to the afternoon session, which we will have George there as well on a hashtag. Sebastian Grammar agree as well, says Anton there. Now Stuart Broad still steaming into the crease, trying to pick up his man in Warner. Was able to pick him up many times in England with the Duke ball. Of course, in those England conditions, was Stuart Broad who had the better of it. Could it be Warner here down under who will be able to get the better of the big man Stuart Broad in his 150th test match as well? He certainly hasn't been messing around, Stuart Broad. I'm trying to work out what age he would have started his test career. Would have been young if you've had 150 test matches, that is for sure, for Stuart Broad. And I'm trying to think of the last time I didn't see him in an Ashes series as well. It's hard to tell. It's probably, I don't even know. It's hard to think about, isn't it? At the moment, the slip caught in his route. Burns and Ollie Pope there as the gully. They are going to be running through for the single. Nicely run between the wickets there for Warner. And he gets himself a single to close out the 20th over. And it is 30 for 1 here for Australia. So going at a strike rate of 1.5 for the first session of first day of this match at the Adelaide Oval. We have got there. I don't think they have picked up the over rate from the last test because of all the dots, etc. as well, says Kai Broom there. Yeah, I guess you would think with the dot balls that it would end up making it so that you were a little bit quicker through your overs, I guess you could say as well. They've got a McDonald's what is that? McFlurry caramel from McDonald's. Why they got to tease me like that and put that up while we are in the morning session of the test match or the afternoon? I guess it's kind of half morning, half afternoon, isn't it? Because of the fact that it is the day-night one. And the 9th of December 2007 was his first test. A little while ago. Tell you what, a long while ago. That's about 14 years, isn't it? They did play it. And now Ben Stokes will get another over for himself. Only going for the one run off the first, but he was trying a little bit of a shorter delivery to Marnus Labuschagne. Tries a short ball to Warner once again. And it is going to be hit out mid-wicket way. Out to deep square leg for the single. And now Labuschagne back on strike. 2007, 9th of December was Broad's first test game versus Sri Lanka as well. Says Robert, I will ask you one better. What were his figures from that test match? I feel like you guys at the moment in the chat are kind of like, you know how the commentators have the guy in their ear that tells them all the stats? I feel like you guys are my kind of stat men and women in the chat, that is for sure. Labuschagne at the moment sitting on 10 runs off 38 deliveries. Warner on 15 off a total of 57 deliveries for himself there, but he was able to pick up the single straight away. Chris Wokes, that's the wrong man. He might get another over though before we get into the kind of break. Although I'm thinking Joe Root. Will Joe Root bowl himself in the opening session of a pink ball test just to see whether or not there's any turn available? Although I feel like if he does Joe Root and then he sees that there is spin available, he will be kicking himself for not picking another spinner in that lineup. Although Ollie Pope, I should say, not Ollie Poop. I believe he has actually had a little bit of spin in the past. Bouncer there from It was from Ben Stokes, and it just goes just over the head of Labuschagne. And also 1 for 78 in the first innings before taking 0 for 8 in the second innings as the match ended in a draw as well. In the second test, he took 1 for 49 as India made 455 in their first innings as well. Says Betty Wagon, there you go. Statman 101 at the moment. You guys need a pay rise, that is for sure. I'll get you all a McFlurry one day. Because they did look all right, the caramel ones. And also Milan can bowl leg spin as well. He bowled in T20 as well, says Anton. So perhaps they do try out David Milan as well, give him an opportunity. He was decent with the bat in hand for that second innings, I believe it was. Or was it the first one? Actually, it might have been second innings that David Milan was able to get himself a decent total. I've got all of the innings here for you guys so that you do know exactly how it went. We will go this one in the batting lineup. So, but David Milan able to get himself 82 runs of 195. Another no ball there. And that is going to be Ben Stokes, who does get the foot slightly wrong in that regard. David Milan getting himself 82. Joe Root getting himself 89 there. They were the only two who really fired in that kind of batting lineup, unfortunately for them. Just missing out on many opportunities to be able to get someone like a Rory Burns. A lot of people are saying that this is the matchup that he needs to really shine as well if he does want a chance in that test side, or else maybe they go Dom Sibley as one of those opening two. But Ben Stokes just gets that one slightly wrong. Overstepping the mark, and it is another low ball. Was against Sri Lanka as well. So Sky Broom there and scored 2 off 8 as well, and figures 1 for 95 as well. So was it India or Sri Lanka as well? Says Sebastian, I believe the first one was Sri Lanka, second one India. If I'm not wrong, I'm back as well, says the two Aussies. Welcome back, mate. We are going to be at 7 p.m. We will be taking a short little break where it will be the interval in between innings. But then from there, we will be returning. It will be myself and it will be George. And it will be a brand new live stream that we will be doing. We're splitting it off into the sessions for you guys so that it is easy enough to follow along with. Was against Sri Lanka as well, says Guy. And also 36 overs, 5 maidens, 95 runs, 1 wicket in his first test match as well, says Robert there in the chat as well. And then think about it from there. The man has gone on to get over 500 test wickets. Burns will turn around this game 75 to 100 as well. Says Anton, I really enjoy watching Rory Burns bat, and I feel like there's a slight soft spot for him because he does have a yellow bat, and I do love myself a yellow bat, but also because of the fact that his technique is different. And that's kind of what you need at the top of the order, something that throws the bowlers off just that little bit as well. Then why does it say India? I went to put him through board's first test stats as well. Says Paddy Wigan there. It's a good question. That is for sure. I guess we got 2 different stats in that regard at Sri Lanka as well, says Robert there. And I imagine that I want Rory to do well. I'd love to see him get himself 100 here for Rory Burns. Definitely, because like a lot of people after that first match, like we were saying, they keep on going, he shouldn't be there at the top of the order. I want to see him fire well and see whether or not he can get himself one. But Ben Stokes at the moment, this is his second over at this stage of the test match. He is going to be going round the wicket here, but it was another no ball from Ben Stokes. I just realised that Rory Burns can't bat in Australia with his technique as well, says Kai Broom. Yeah, it is very tough for them, or for him, which is why if he was somehow able to do it, I feel like it would be that much more impressive as well. And one of Labuschagne really taking their time as well, says the 2 Aussies. Are you going for the Aussies? Says that it was the 2 Aussies. And Google can't Google as well, says Paddy Wigan there in the chat. But yeah, pretty much I am impartial in this match. I am going to try and remain completely down the middle for you guys, so that whether you go for England or whether you go for Australia, you can still enjoy the commentary from that non-biased point of view. But 12 is not the number there. I don't know where I got 12 from, but 20.4 is the overs that we have had so far here themselves. And like they're saying, maybe they start going for a little bit of short stuff up against Marnus Labuschagne. See whether or not you can pick up their wicket. I know that was how they were able to get Steve Smith out a little while ago. In fact, it was the Kiwis who were trying out that tactic to Steve Smith, and he did get caught that kind of leg gully region a couple of times, and also at square leg. At the moment, Ben Stokes has already bowled 2 no balls and also a wide so far in his early stages as well. I'm going with Oz to annoy Seb as well, says Paddy Wigan there. Although, to be fair, Seb doesn't have too much support in terms of going for England. I feel like, Anton, if I'm not wrong, you were going for England for this one, more than likely. But yeah, overall, there are a lot of people who are going for Australia in this matchup, and Stokes leaking extras as well, says Mark there. Yeah, unfortunately, they are extra runs that have helped them keep the strike rate ticking over once again, left by Marnus. It's going to be the end of the over, and it will be 21 overs down, 34 for 1 here. And cheers, Betty, as well. And they're from Sebastian there as well. Nonetheless, at the moment, ticking over quite nicely. Warner sitting on 15 runs off 57 balls. Marnus Labuschagne sitting on 10 runs off 45 deliveries. So you'd say at the moment, England, with them being able to take that early wicket, if they can get themselves one more in the next 17 minutes here, you'd say that they probably had the better of the session overall. Although Fatigue is a wonderful thing, and it is something that the Australians are trying to maybe have affect the English in the later stages of the day. When we do get to the day-night stage, maybe that's when Australia starts striking it hard and see whether or not they can push towards that 200 or so on the day. Hydration, eh? Gotta love it. Travis Head, vice captain, they were just mentioning as well. So abroad now, a little bit of exertion. Big shot there from David Warner out to the mid-wicket boundary, and that is an aggressive shot to start this one off. I feel like he still remembers what happened for the little while as well. Hopefully it's not a fitness issue for Stokes as well, says Anton. Yeah, if it was, it is very early on in the test match, and without them having a spinner as well, other than I guess you could say Root and Milan, they don't really want to not have the 4 quicks and going for it as well. A nicely hit there by David Warner. Also 16 overs, 4 maidens, 73 runs, 5 wickets for Anderson on his debut up against Zimbabwe in 2003. He's almost been playing as long as I've been alive for Jimmy Anderson there. Very impressive player, that is for sure. And also we have got there. Seems like I'll have all of the popularity for a gingerhead stepson as well, says Sebastian. That's a new one that I haven't heard before. Pitched up nicely by Broad, and it's going to be blocked there by Warner once again, who does move himself up almost to the 20-run mark. Aussies are my favourite team. Then it goes to New Zealand, then West Indies, then England. Then the rest I don't really care about as well, says the 2 Aussies there. So you will be back in West Indies to be able to win their 3rd T20 match, I assume. That is actually happening tonight as well, I believe, if I'm not wrong, for the T20 between the West Indies and Pakistan. So far, Pakistan 2-0 in that series as well. But nonetheless, at the moment, Australia, we'll ask the question, ladies and gentlemen, do they lose another wicket before we get to the end of this first session? Or will they be able to keep on batting through? Change of angle here for Stuart Broad. Going over the wicket rather than round. Probably going to get to through 25 or 26 this session. So behind a little as well, says Skybroom. Yeah, they can't afford to go at any less than, I guess, any less than 25 or so in a session. You're really looking in trouble for that one as well at the moment. The bowling attack, they may even have to go with a few spin overs just to try and catch up in the early stages. At the moment, Stuart Broad, like they're saying, once that pink ball does get a little bit softer, it's very hard to get it to do a lot off the surface at the Adelaide Oval. Definitely with the heat as well. We're not really getting too much swing. I don't think there's many clouds in the sky at the moment. Another leave for David Warner. Bring on Anderson for 1 over before lunch as well, says Anton. I feel like that would be a good move. Would you go with one of the spinners as well, Anton? Maybe give Joe Root or David Milan an opportunity, or do you just stick with the quicks for now? See whether or not they can get themselves just a late wicket in this session. Because I guess when you got 40 minutes off as well, or do you give him a couple? I might actually say give Anderson maybe 1 or 2 here from Stokes' end, just to see whether or not he can pick himself up 1 wicket in those 12 balls as well. Labuschagne at the moment, he is at the non-strikers end. Very quick. 1 for Anderson, 1 for Root as well, says Anton there in the chat. Now Warner sitting on 19 off 61. He's almost faced 100 deliveries already. Yeah, David Warner, that was close to the stumps, for bouncing just over there. I love the wicket before the break as well. They're looking good at the crease, but you never know. The wickets come uninvited most of the time as well. G'day, or let's go Australia. Let's put some pommies to the sword as well, says David. And I know, David, you will be excited for the next session. 7:30, myself and George. I have got George here. He doesn't watch cricket at all. He doesn't even know pretty much anything about cricket, but we are going to have him here and see whether or not we can teach him all about the Ashes in that regard, I should say. Hopefully Warner can still play good because he hurt himself as well. Yeah, that is a good mention. Warner with the rib injury. First real aggressive shot. Oh, it's the bouncer from Broad. Does decide to target the ribs, and Warner knows it as well. That is the end of the over, and it is now going to be 22 overs down, 38 for 1 here for the Australians. We have got there my favourite team, South Africa, England, New Zealand, Australia as well. Says it was Kevin there. So pretty much, I guess you could say 4 of those sides who are right up there in the rugby rankings as well, not just for the cricket. Yeah, at the moment, the Test Championship is on the line as well. England, they did lose a point. They're doing that Caramello ad once again for McDonald's. I'm very hungry at the moment. I'll probably end up having a snack in between the 2 live streams that we are ready to go for the evening session, which should be extremely exciting for that one as well. Normally, it's the evening session in a pink ball test match that has wickets falling, boundaries running as well, and it is going to be absolutely awesome. I don't think I'm going to have a guest for that one. My favourite team is England as well, says Anton there in the chat. Also, England trying to play Jardine body line as well. It's the only chance as well, says Mark Morris there. Oh, well bowled there from Stokes. Good bouncer. 137 Ks almost, and it was right into the grill almost of Amanis there. Amanis has faced 33 straight dots. Geez, that's a number. 33 straight dots there for Marnus Labuschagne. That is a lot more than I was expecting. 33 straight dots. I'm going to write that one down. Surely he gets a run off the bat soon. At the moment, they're bowling very well to him, though, for Marnus Labuschagne. And it seems like he's hitting the splice of the bat quite a bit there. Just looking down at the handle. He's got the yellow handle by the looks of it there for Marnus. But this one was a perfect bouncer there from Ben Stokes. Oh, it hit the finger there on the right hand. I believe it was the index finger on the right hand there for Marnus. So he will certainly not be hoping that he has a broken finger, similar to what Ben Stokes had a little while ago, which was why he was out for so long, and also some personal reasons. Oh, okay, they've brought in a bat pad. So this means Marnus Labuschagne might be facing a little bit of short stuff before we get to the break. Labuschagne at the moment still chewing the gum. Of course, keeps him concentrated. And now he is ready to go. Another short ball edging. Oh, what is that shot from Marnus? He's almost just got himself caught at slip. It's going to be 4 runs here. But that is not a shot that I expected to see from Marnus Labuschagne. He just tried to glide it through the covers, which I heard as well. Says Anton, nah, he's completely fine. And I drank a glass of water in like 4 seconds as well there. He does glide that one through the slip caught in between root and also second slip. Like they're saying, it's almost a T20 shot. Root just not quite able to get to it. Aussies get him through the English set plays as well. And that's right, Amish will just have to educate a vote as well there. And also I see the new out emoji call as well. Says to David. All credit goes to Sebastian for that one. He has made it, and it does look extremely nice as well. My favourite team, Australia, New Zealand, England, West Indies, and South Africa as well. Another short ball from Stokes. Was it a drop catch? Fingertips for for Root. I'd say probably about a hand or two away from him here. We're just going to get to see the replay here. Marnus pretty much gliding it through the slip cordon. And then from there, Joe Root almost went straight to him, but just a little bit out to the side. So he didn't get a hand to it there, Root. An orthodox shot from Marnus, that is for sure. Yeah, just outside of the right hand of Joe Root there. So not quite a catching opportunity. Ben Stokes is wondering, what's he doing playing that shot? We're in a test match, not the T20. Another short one. Oh, it's at the hand of Marnus. Almost went through him as I hit the handle as well. I think it is some good short stuff from Ben Stokes here. He wasn't even close. Probably a foot or two away as well, says Kai. Yeah, he did react slightly late to it, Joe Root, but that's probably purely because he wouldn't have been expecting the shot to take place. But that was Labuschagne's handle. It ended up hitting. This is dangerous for him. He needs to try and get through this spell of bowling. It's once again on the hand, I think, for Marnus on the right. So this is not going to be an easy few overs for him. And Ben Stokes, he's looking like he's got a bit of a spring in his step now. Senses that maybe he will be able to get Labuschagne out here if he does get the ball in the right place. Once again, short or right in the body. I felt that one for Marnus. Oh, that does not look nice for Marnus Labuschagne. He's just going to take a breather. I literally felt that one right there. It was right in the midsection for Marnus, and he's going to have a bit of a break there. And awesome to hear, says Anton there. Where does this one hit him? Go short. Rib cage, that's going to be winding you big time. And Head and Kerry will be on fire when they bat because they're South Australian players as well. Yeah, certainly used to these conditions. Marnus got smacked there in the rib cage, and he made the noise as well. He went, ooh, because that was a mighty thud in the rib cage of Marnus Labuschagne. That one will leave a big old mark there. Gets another short one, gets under it early for Marnus. That is the end of a good over from Stokes, and that is now going to be 23 overs down, and it's going to be 42 for 1 here for the Australians. So Ben Stokes, I feel like you give him 1 or 2 more overs here just to see whether or not he can get it. But that was a big shot to the ribcage of Marnus. Would have taken the wind straight out of the lungs, and that is not what you want when you're trying to run between the wickets in the test match. Definitely not in the Adelaide Oval heat as well, sitting around that 30 degrees at the moment. Not going to be easy, but yeah, pretty much me and George, we will be back at 7:30. Will be when our next session will be starting for the cricket. So if you guys are new to this channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We will be transferring straight over to another live stream for that one as well. So if you guys do want to hang out there while we are waiting for our next one to take place, be sure to check it out as well. I will end up in that situation of pretty much we will go like this and we will go like this as well, because then I can send you guys a link for how to get over to our next live stream when it does take place as well, so that you can set the reminder on there and get notified straight away. There we go. Isn't Ben Stokes, Mr. Perfect? Ben Stokes, that blah, blah, blah. So, says that David there on the channel. Also, we have got there. Marcus might lose concentration with painful ribs as well. Certainly not going to be too nice for him. Joe Root here, going to be able to have an opportunity to bowl. Goes for the single off the first delivery. And now it is going to be Labuschagne who will be on strike. They're mentioning on the commentary, it's actually Mr. Cricket himself, Mike Hussey. he is going to be saying that maybe they need to try and get through a few overs here. I think they should ban bouncer. So dangerous as well, says Kevin. It is a very dangerous delivery. Definitely with the pace that the that the bowlers bowl these days. Like we did see Josh Phillippe get hit on the neck with one in the T20 game yesterday. It actually was when he got 99 not out. Joe Root at the moment, he is going to be going over the wicket here. Round the wicket here, trying to create the angle for Marnus Labuschagne. Joe Root, one of the lone spinners in this side. They didn't go with Jack Leach, the specialist spinner in that one. If you can call him a specialist spinner after that last performance for him, did leak quite a few runs. And it is going to be the ricochet off Jimmy Anderson. And now it is going to be just the single once again. 2 singles straight away off Joe Root's bowling. So that is decent enough for the Aussies to try and get themselves towards that maybe 50 to 60 by the time we get to the break, which is actually happening in 5 minutes' time. So perhaps they only have one more over of Ben Stokes as well. And this first session of 2 hours. Nicely bowled there by Joe Root. Got it in the right spot. David Warner just has to block it for that one as well. Marching through. Like they're saying, they've gone upstairs and they've had a look at Labuschagne with that short ball, and perhaps that will be where they target him in the next session as well. Nicely bowled little chip. Oh, they didn't have a man in close though, and that would have been out for David Warner, but they did not have someone there for it wasn't even the bat pad. It was actually the case of going across kind of the point side. It hit the glove, and it would have been just skied up nicely to a man who was at, I guess you call him silly point there. If he was sitting there, he would have gone out, but they did not have one there. Nice spin on the ball from Joe Root, and that will be making Nathan Lyon very excited for what he will get to do in the 4th innings of this matchup for the Australians, of course. He is going to be there without his 2 normal buddies, Hazelwood and Cummins. Both are out of this test match, one due to injury, one due to being a close COVID case. I was trying to think of that guy that got nasty hit in the bounce a couple of years ago. Wasn't he English as well? Says it, David, are we talking about, tries to cut shot there, David Warner, because there was actually in the Ashes last time, that was where we got to learn how good Marnus Labuschagne was, because it was actually the case of Steve Smith getting hit with the bouncer. He had to go off, and from there, Marnus Labuschagne was born, and he has ever since been just a staple in that starting lineup for them as well. So we are not missing Leach as well. Root is doing a fine job as well, says Anton. Yeah, exactly right. Leach, unfortunately for him with the economy rate that he did go for last time, I feel like even David Milan as the part-time spinner might be able to do decently for himself as well. It's an interesting ad from KFC. Why do they advertise all the good foods while we are on a live stream where we do not have food? But we will have food in between the break as well. Keep us going. The bowlers at the moment, they've been pretty economical. It looks like it is going to be, surely they go with Ben Stokes once again here. Yes, they do, and it is going to be the short stuff to Marnus Labuschagne. Well, Bolden once again, it's going to be the duck from Marnus. He is trying to read this one. Eventually, Ben Stokes might decide to throw up the full delivery, see whether or not he can catch Marnus off guard. But at the moment, I believe this will be the second last over before we get to the lunch break. So pretty much at 6:30, we will be firing up our next live stream that we are doing on the channel. This is a link for anyone who does want to follow straight along. And also after this live stream, it will give you guys a link straight to that, how you can just click a button and you will be there ready to go for it as well. I think Root bowled to pinch another over, but Warner asked for gloves to waste time as well. Says Kai Broom there. Going to be nicely pulled away by Marnus. This is looking like it's going to the man at deep fine leg. And he has been able to cut it off nicely there for Wokes. At the moment now, Warner's going to be on strike now. It seemed like Joe Root was preferring bowling to Warner. Oh, sorry, it's actually been Stokes bowling, but I will say Warner seemed like he was the one out of the 2 that Joe Root was preferring. So he'd love to have him at the end of the session as well for the next over here. It was nicely played by Marnus. Like they're saying, he'll be happy he's at the non-strikers end. I feel like you go with the same tactic to Warner, because if he's got an injured rib, it is going to be the case of maybe he's a little bit hesitant to go forward towards that delivery and then possibly gets himself caught out with Hamid, who is actually in close at the moment here for the Australians. But it is now going to be Stokes once again who will be bowling this one. Gone for 10 runs so far of his first 3.2, but bowling a lot more aggressive. Nice pull shot played by Warner, but cut off nicely by Anderson, who is at square leg at the moment. Or actually is that kind of a backward square leg. No, Warner once again replacing the gloves. Or not replacing the gloves, sorry, but undoing the gloves. Keeping the tension off the wrist we have got there. That's him, Hamish, as well, says David. But yeah, that was actually the match that we did get to see. That kind of Jofra Archer versus Steve Smith delivery, and then Marnus Labuschagne. At the moment, he has got an average of about 63. And I wonder how long it would have been if Steve Smith didn't get injured before we got to see Labuschagne, and whether or not he would have been able to have that same impact, because I believe he got a whole heap of runs on his debut as well. And then from there, just kept on going. It was Steve Smith 2.0 short ball there. And David Warner misses it. It was outside of the off stump. And Ben Stokes, a little smile on his face. English Wallets will be missing Leach as well when they have to rest all their seamers as well. And there says Mark Morris. Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like Dubba Milan wouldn't be a bad idea giving him a little bit of a crack as well at some stage. Last over here, only 25 in this session. Pathetic as well, and Australia will win this test, says Shane. Yeah, at the moment they are sitting with a 61% chance of winning out. 19% draw, 20% in favour of England as well. My highlight so far this year will be the Rugby Championship, New Zealand versus South Africa. Both games were absolutely phenomenal for that series. At the moment, like they're saying, it's a strange field. We are sitting at, it will be just about ticking over to that kind of, I believe it will be 4:30 over there. So it does mean that we are going to see this as the final over short ball once again from Stokes way outside the off stump. And Warner not too bothered with that one. Sitting on 20 of 70 deliveries at the moment here for David Warner. This is the second test match of the Ashes. England need this one to really put pressure on the Aussies for the Boxing Day test. But the moment they need another wicket before the end of this one, and there's only one delivery left for Ben Stokes. Can he pull off a miracle delivery here to Warner? Pick him up just before the session break. If it's not on the stumps, Warner's probably not playing it. If it's short, Warner might take it on. As well, it looks like, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that it is going to be the last delivery of the session now. Ben Stokes still waiting for Warner to get in position. And now it is going to be Warner on strike. Only the one run coming off the Stokes over so far. And it is going to be nicely bowled. No run there. And that is going to be the end of the session by the looks of it. Over and session. So that is going to be the first one over. Have we got time? I think the bails are going to be coming off here. Yes, it is. So 25 overs down, and they are sitting 45 for 1 here for Australia after the first session. Milan got 40 wickets in first-class games as well. Not good to see Aussie struggling versus England. Pace attack as well, says Ankit. And also we have got there. I hope you're doing well. As well, says Adrian, welcome into the live stream, mate. I hope you are doing well as well. Is Cricket 22 any good on PS4? I have actually got it on Xbox Series S, but I haven't played it yet. So I'm not too sure whether or not it is as good on the older consoles as it is on the newer consoles. I assume it's just the frame rate that is slightly increased, more than likely. And what has been your highlight so far this year, Hamish, as well? That's a tough one. I feel like just doing YouTube, like, for the whole year has been pretty phenomenal. Like, the fact that we've gone from rugby early in the year, we were covering cricket as well and done some gaming. We've hit milestones as well throughout the year. It's been absolutely incredible. Like, our goal by the end of the year was to hit 3,500 subscribers, and we are now sitting closer to 9 as well, which is absolutely awesome. But it was Marcus Harris who lost his wicket early on. For anyone who was wondering, 3 runs he was able to get himself of 28 deliveries, but then it was Broad who bowled the one down the leg side, did end up mishitting it for Marcus Harris, and it did end up getting him caught behind by Butler, and what was a very good diving catch with the right hand. Then at the moment, it is going to be Warner sitting on 20 of 72 deliveries, and then Labuschagne sitting on 16 of 54. The bowlers so far, just the one wicket, and that was Stuart Broad with an economy of 2.43. Actually, almost the most expensive bowler other than Stokes. Robinson only going for the run per over. 3 maidens in a row for him, and also Jimmy Anderson, 5 overs bowled, 3 maidens, and only going for the 7 runs as well. It's got on PC as well, and thanks, Kiwi lads. I'm off. I got to go to sleep 1 a.m. here as well, says Anton. So we will see you later on, mate. But thank you very much for tuning in, and hope to see you on one of the future Ashes live streams. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning into this session. What will be happening is we will be having a 28-minute break here, and then we will be back for the next session of the game, and that is going to be an exciting one, ladies and gentlemen. The afternoon session with someone who doesn't really watch a lot of cricket at all. That is going to be George, so it will be interesting to see how that does go in terms of his cricket knowledge. We'll see how far it goes, but nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all in a half an hour's time. We will quickly put that link there. That is to the next live stream. If you guys want to chill out there in the chat for 28 minutes or so, and then we will be back at 7:30. But thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all for the next one.